Out in the middle of Marvel Stadium. Well, not in the middle. Well, the Saints are doing their ball-up drills, but both teams out on Marvel Stadium doing their warm-ups for Ream. Install a Ream, Australia's favourite. Welcome back to AFL Nation. Sam Hargraves, Matty Cox calling all the action alongside Michael Barlow, who's looking $1 million. All thanks to Ringers Western. From a Kimberley cattle station to the commentary box, ringerswestern.com. Our pre-game show is for Beaumont Tile, supporting small to medium builders. And before we get into our match preview, let's get an odds update, all thanks to Sportsbet, which we will maybe just leave for another day. We don't have that one at the moment, but if you are having a punt, do so responsibly. 1-800-858-858 if gambling is a problem for you or someone you love. By the way, Michael Barlow, the Ringers Western gear, we talk about how good it looks. How good does it feel?
Oh, it feels good. You know when you put new sheets on your bed and you jump in, or after you wash the sheets, dry the sheets, jump into the bed for the first time. It's like when you put your Ringers Western gear on all the time.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, look like a safety blanket. Ringers Western clothing that looks great in the city, feels great, and toughs it out on the land. So the warm-up's happening for Ream. Ask your plumber to install the Ream steady, hot and strong. The Kubota cast, as important as it is for what we do on AFL Nation, unnecessary today, unfortunately, for Kubota. Together we are shaping and building Australia because we're under the roof at Marvel for the final game. Regular season 2022, Kubota shaping and building Australia. 36 plays 17, by the way, at the MCG half-time. So this has been billed 90,000. Biggest Carlton Collingwood game maybe since the 81 grand final, and it's been an absolute fizzer so far. I blame Gene Simmons from KISS. He walked out and delivered the ball. It was the KISS concert that almost made me late to the MCG. I forgot all about it and wondered why I couldn't make any inroads to traffic last night. Unmissable moment, Michael Barlow, for Drink Wise. Choose to Drink Wise. You won't miss a moment if you drink Wise in this game today. Yeah,
well, we're sending off a few champions of the St Kilda Football Club or the AFL in general. Dan Hanbury hasn't all gone his way, has it, since he's come across from Sydney to St Kilda, but an absolutely terrific
18th game in 4 years.
A terrific career in the red and the white, and it's fitting that he gets to play his old team today wearing the great strip, the predominantly white strip with the red V, the red shorts. I love that strip. So an unmissable strip, but also an unmissable moment in terms of sending off Dan Hanbury, Paddy Ryder, Dan Campbell.
So Paddy Ryder announced his retirement. It came up on the St Kilda social media feed yesterday, I think, Coxie, and I thought we'd play a bit of that. It was an emotional farewell to a much-loved figure in the footy club and in the game. Paddy Ryder.
I love this place and everyone here. Sorry, I'll try and get some words out. It's been an amazing journey. Just want to thank the club for the opportunity. Come here a few years ago now when my old club thought I was done at the time, but I didn't think I was. I hope I've justified you blokes picked me up and coming here. Definitely put up absolutely everything into it. I haven't reached the heights that I had in mind coming here, but that won't take away from the moments, the good times, the relationships I've created here. Won my first final here, so thanks for that, boys. All you blokes have just treated me with so much respect. Just won't be the same group again, so this week just go out, give everything, enjoy each other's company, love each other, play hard, and thanks a lot.
Beautiful scenes. Paddy Ryder announcing his retirement. Emotional scenes too. He was a Port Adelaide best and fairest player, All-Australian as well in 2017. Anzac Day medalist in 2009. 170 games for the Bombers, 73 for Port Adelaide, 38 for St Kilda after being picked 7 in the 2005 draft. And as good a tap ruckman as his generation would have seen. Your impressions of Paddy Ryder? You would have played a lot of footy against him, Mickey B.
Yeah, special player, special person. Had the softest hands in the ruck contest going around, and the connection between ruckman and midfielder off the back of that. Sometimes you just go from his hand to the opposition midfielder so quickly that you blink and you'd miss it. So softly spoken, as you can tell through the audio there, but stepping away from the game, that does show that the investment these guys make into their career and how daunting at times can be stepping away. Footy clubs are a special place, and well said, Paddy Ryder, and a great career.
226 game for Dan Hanbury. On his day as damaging a player and midfielder as there would have been out on the field. A 14-year career. He actually played his first game while he was still in year 12. A premiership player with the Swans, 3-time All-Australian. He was a Coaches Association Player of the Year as well, and a ton of other accolades. One of the most accomplished on-ballers of his generation. It hasn't worked out for him. He's been far and wide to try and get his body out, going to Germany to undertake treatment to fix the soft tissue injuries that he's endured since before he got to St Kilda and during most of his time at St Kilda. But he's back to play his final game with the Saints today. And Dean Kent, 36 games for the Saints, 63 for Melbourne. He'll play his 100th game today, announced his retirement as well. So congratulations to all of those gentlemen on their careers, and we wish them all the best in their future endeavours. So let's talk more about this game and the Sydney Footy Club in particular. Unmissable moments, the retirees. Let's the ground report for Pope, the better way to water. Marvel Stadium looking in great nick. It was looking a little sparse and had some dry spots on it, or some brown patches on it a couple of weeks ago, but they've done a great job here. Pope's Drippies makes drip irrigation a breeze. In the Coates commentary box for Coates, we're more than higher. We're equipped for anything. Swans have won 6 in a row, Michael Barlow. They're up there with Geelong as the form team in the competition. What's impressing you about the Swans at the moment?
They're so well-rounded, the Swans, aren't they? In terms of their inside-outside game is very impressive. Their inside game, which has been held together for long periods by Luke Parker, Josh Kennedy, the Bulls in the midfield, it hasn't been them. Clearly Josh Kennedy, I should say, has taken a back seat this year and gone to half-back and played bits and pieces roles. He's out with a significant hamstring injury at the moment, but it's been the younger brigade that's brought them through in their contest work. They've got Chad Warner up and going, McInerney on the wings. Dylan Stevens has come in after a long apprenticeship throughout the VFL program. It is their young players, or the young emerging players, that are adding their spice. And the McCartan brothers, the 1-2 punch in the back half has been absolutely tremendous for them. If there is an Achilles heel, it may be that key forward post. They've got Buddy Franklin, who's an absolute superstar of the competition. Sam Reid also playing in that role. Logan McDonald's a younger player coming through. That's the area that I think can be a little bit hit and miss for the Swans at the moment. Ground level, we know they've got Isaac Heaney, Tom Papley to mop up anything that comes to ground and hit the scoreboard. So having a look at force and weaknesses off the back of 6 games in a row. They're hard to find, but good winning form's good form, so we won't knock it too much.
And on the other side of the equation, Mick, you've got the St Kilda Footy Club. It's been a season of frustration. They won 5 of their first 6 games, which was a loss to Collingwood back in round 1. And then since then, the season has petered out for them and culminated in the frustration from last week. Do you give them any hope this afternoon?
Yeah, they've gone 3-7 since their bye.
You've got to give them hope. You've got to give the listeners hope. Coxie, you're trying to put a dagger in the hearts before the game's even started. But St Kilda are a side that if they can get their game going and utilise the corridor as much as they can, they're a chance. Get the ball at the hands of their users, Jack Sinclair and Bradley Hill. Sydney absolutely torched them about 2 months ago at the SCG, just restricted their ball use, forced them long down the line, and really highlighted the inefficiency of St Kilda if they can't run and gun and use the corridor.
So there's a little matrix that I have a look at, and if you look back over the last 15 to 20 years, most of the premiers have had to have been top 4 offence and top 4 defence, which Swans are both. So they've got the 4th ranked defence in terms of points against and the 4th ranked offence in terms of points for. 15% of clearances might be their Achilles heel. They're not brilliant out of the middle just yet, but I was watching Footy Classified the other night, and the areas in which they've improved enormously: disposal differential, they're 3rd in the comp from rounds 14 to 22, contested possession differential 2nd, tackle differential 1st, inside 50 differential 2nd, points against 2nd, points from turnover differential 2nd, and scores per inside 50 percentage. They are 1st in the competition from rounds 14 to 22. That looks every bit premiership DNA stuff, Michael Barlow.
I like it. Yes, I like it. And they're a side that won't be daunted. It won't daunt the big occasion of finals. They're young. They've got the vibrancy of youth. But they've also got the experience around to straighten them up where required. So they're a side I've really enjoyed watching and looking forward to today's game against St Kilda.
That was the final word from Michael Barlow, Shaw Unify, your national uniform and workwear experts. Our pre-game show is for Beaumont Tile, supporting small to medium builders. So, final game of the year for the Saints. Announced during the week that Dave Noble would come in and head up a review of their football department, and just to make sure that they're on the right track. There's nothing to be worried about. It is just more of a, hey, you have a look and we think we're on the right path. Just let us know if we're actually on the money there. Matty Cox is going to get us underway at Marvel, the final game of the regular season of 2022. The opening bounce for Tyre Power. Your match day favourite for Tyre Safety. Big win from the Swans could mean they get a home final and finish second. So plenty on the line for the Swannies today at Marvel.
We're underway. And Campbell takes the first hit out for the Saints to ground level. High contact made. It'll be a free kick to go the way of Campbell in the ruck. Goes long, searching. Inside 50. Membry. McCartan got a hand to it. King doing the roving work. Fed it out to Wanganeen Milleray from one step. Almost shuffled it through, but it's a minus score on the board. That's what the Saints lead by. 30 seconds into this encounter on the Makita clock. Rule the outdoors with Makita.
Tennis square bounce, clearance, bang, out they go and they score. So dangerous when you can get the ball out of there quickly. Marcus Windhager has gone to Chad Warner.
NAB Rising Star from last week kept the Brownlow medal favourite Lockie Neal to a season-low 16 disposals. Before that, he kept Tim Kelly. Against West Coast a few weeks ago, he kept Tim Kelly to just 4 disposals. So he's actually played the third most games of any draftee from last year's draft. He's a great story from their next-gen academy. Papley just took it and pounded it. A ball that went about 50 up and 40 long down the broadcast wing. Josh Battle back in the side, just had the height advantage over Heaney. Used that to effect. His kick, though, was anything but effective. He put it straight down the throat of Jake Lloyd, who had 39 disposals when the Swans beat St Kilda back in round 15 it was. And that ball was going nowhere in the middle. Went to play on. Did Florent and coughed it up. So the Saints have won it back. Defensive side of the centre circles. Windhager on cue to Patton in the general spreads to Long, and he just pokes it forward the required to Bradley Hill.
On the centre wing goes short to Steele. They've navigated this well, St Kilda. Sinclair now takes it half forward out of side. A piercing ball to King. There's a Swans player down as King from the...
And they're going at Max King. They're going at Max King. So something's happened off the ball here, Coxie.
And interestingly enough, it was Tom McCartan goes down. Paddy McCartan comes over to Tom, wraps his arms around him, must have asked really quickly what happened. I think the words Max King may have been uttered, and he went over and pile-drived him into the ground after he kicked a nice left-foot goal. So a little bit of push and shove and a bit of rah-rah-rah stuff going on behind the scenes. But all that being said and done, goal to the Saints.
First one for Max King as well, given he kicked 5 behinds last week, so a slight confidence builder, but then they all came at him. And on the car sales replay screen, sell your car the hassle-free way with car sales instant offer.
Hard to see, Coxie.
Camera didn't pick it up.
Yeah, hard to see. But Paddy McCartan was riding shotgun with his brother and went over and retaliated pretty quickly. Ryan Clark doing the defensive job on Jack Sinclair, a job that he started out doing the last time they met as the defensive half-forward.
Yeah, kicked a couple of goals himself, Clark, when he took that job. So that was a nice left-foot snap, Coxie, from Max King as we were following the footy and the fight. So first one of the Saints, 1-1-7 they lead by. Almost extricating it out of the middle again. Ball in dispute just between the top edge of the square and the centre circle. Parker foraging for it, taken to ground by Campbell. Or can still got a little handball out to Windhager and a quick kick, lofted up, centre half forward, coming out hard. Just unable to take the mark in the end for the Saints was Marshall. They still maintain possession at right half forward. Wanganeen Milleray, and that's a little crude, colliding into the fence. At 45 around, Marshall and the co-captain of the Sydney Swans, Dane Rampy, will have a boundary throw in 49 around.
He's pretty savvy, Dane Rampy, I reckon. May have been accidental on purpose.
As Parker got the kick to the wing for the Swans, but the Saints are holding up well. Long's handball to Howard was under pressure, now cut off by Hickey. threading the traffic, finds Heaney, attacking side of the outer wing. He stops and waits and then puts it out in front of Warner. Will allow it to bounce. Gathers cleanly inside 50 for the Swans. A centering ball for Florent is good. He takes the mark directly in front, 35 metres out.
That was Tom Hickey's ball use in congestion. Just 1-2 little steps. Nice ball drop. Hit the target. And then the kick to space. Rather than trying to pop it onto Chad Warner's head, put it to space. Warner hunted it down, was composed enough to turn inside and know where his numbers were, and Ollie Florent can go back and have a look for the Swans first.
Read the situation incredibly well, the Swans. Their first realistic attempts at scoring is away to the left-hand side. Not the best attempt then from Ollie Florent. One behind the Swans. They trail by 6 points on the Tyre Power, your trusted tyre expert scoreboard. 5 gone, opening term on the Makita clock.
I'll refer to that as an absolute flower bag.
Half-time at the MCG, 19-point lead to Collingwood. That's around the grounds of Chemist Warehouse. Great savings every day. 3 inside 50s to 1 to start this off. Max King, a long way from his natural habitat, takes the lead up mark at left half back. Quickly drives it to left half forward. Couple of bites to the cherry. And the mark was claimed by Campbell, who fed it off to Clark. No one goes at him. He can just saunter to the arc of 50 and just dropped it onto the bonce of a backpedaling Jack Higgins directly in front, 15 out. Lovely transference of the Sharon from Hunter Clark.
Smart ball use, wasn't it? Because the Swans had the number and they were zoning to space, so Hunter Clark took the space that was afforded to him, crossed 50, didn't blaze away and just popped it to the space of Jack Higgins.
Higgins kicked a couple last week in the loss to Brisbane by 15 points, and that from directly in front is gone to the left-hand side and a minor score. That was ugly off the right boot. Jack Higgins. So 1-2-8 to just the one behind, 7-point St Kilda lead. We played over 6 minutes. Makita ruled the outdoors clock. So just with Max King, so the 5 behinds last week and a lot of talk around his routine and, you know, his technique and all that kind of stuff. Confidence-wise, though, to get you first, and yes, it was just a quick left foot snap and he, you know, got the curl.
He'll feel really good about himself.
Franklin on the wing, receives the footy, goes inside 50. Hickey had to pen down a long way for it. Jones coming through, mops up, fed it to Battle. He puts it to the broadcast side, out in front of Marshall and Butler. Butler gets there first, loops the handball inboard to Sinclair, goes inside, attacking 50. Again, Higgins on the end of it. He takes the mark this time on a 45-degree angle, 35 metres out.
They're struggling for that matchup at the moment with Higgins. It's McCartan on Higgins. It's Max King on Paddy McCartan. So a tall to a small there. Higgins has been able to expose that mismatch in terms of speed and agility on the last 2 occasions.
There's a sense of confidence from the Saints early, but Higgins has hooked this again. 2 consecutive behinds for him. The Saints 1-3-9, leading the Swans 1 behind on the Tyre Power, your trusted tyre expert scoreboard. 7 minutes gone in the opening term on the Makita clock. Rule the outdoors with Makita.
Mills, that kick was a little bit too shallow for the intended target, Haywood, and Campbell chopped it off in front of him. His kick, he just returned the favour. Back to Ollie Florent. The target was King, and Florent filled the hole. About 45 out from defensive goal, just stabs it inboard, just the required to Parker. Had a brilliant season, Luke Parker. So too have many of the Swans on ballers. To Blakey at left half back. Penetrating kick down the far side wing. Campbell couldn't control it, a couple of bites, and then butted up to lay the tackle on Goulden. So the ball going nowhere, centre wing, far side of the ground.
Hickey engages, grabs it straight out of the contest. Hanbury in his final game is rewarded for the tackle. Centre wing out of side. He lobs this one long in the King direction. McCartan, while he was interrupted by his teammate King, pops it back in. Crowd appealing for a throw. Marshall then applies the tackle. Owens coming through, releases the handball in the King direction, bubbles on him, then crashes the contest. Higgins coming the other way, flicks it out. Windhager didn't get the opportunity, and Florent is able to exit. Franklin takes the mark. He's off to the races. One bounce. He's calling for someone to go in front of him. He has to double back, sidestep, escape the tackle from Leonard. Goes inside 50 over the head of McDonald. Battle mopping up for the Saints. Long feeds the handball back to Battle in the back pocket, who's a little hesitant but goes short to Hanbury.
But he doesn't normally have to pull out the dance moves like that. He's getting on in the years now. And
it could have been a Hooker Franklin scenario, but he just doesn't have the wheels anymore, Sam.
No, and Leonard was able to close it down. Coming out of defensive 50, St Kilda turn it over. Parker on the end of it. So he's about 80 metres from home, left half forward. They're going to concede a little bit to go backward along the top edge of the centre square. Dane Rampy attacking side of it. He just pokes it inboard. So they've got corridor now with Florent. He's only about 15 metres ahead of the centre circles, though. So this will be the load-up kick. Long, strong, they will all fly. McDonald came out hard. It went over his head at ground level. Long, he's held up by Franklin. And also Hickey. So we'll have it tossed up 20 metres out directly in front of the Swans' goals. They're kicking to your city end.
Collingwood by 13 points around the grounds for Chemist Warehouses. McDonald feeds it to Rowbottom, and he's put it straight into the front row. And the Swans get on the scoreboard with a major there, 117. They still trail St Kilda 139, all thanks to Tyre Power, your match day favourites for tyre safety.
Yeah, 450 stoppages and the pressure and cleanliness of the Swans came to the fore there. Great work, McDonald, below his knees, the ability just to be clean. When you're clean, you buy yourself an extra half a second to a second to make your decision. Rowbottom got to the chest of McDonald and slammed home the easiest of goals.
Michael Barlow, expert for sure, uniform experts. In this game, in the way modern footy's played, Michael Barlow, you've got to make the most of your opportunities. 4 out of the first 5 scoring shots was for St Kilda. They hold a 2-point lead at the end of all of it. So 139 to 117.
Yeah, scoreboard pressure, isn't it? Jack Higgins has had a couple of looks and they go begging, so Swans were right back in it.
Tyre Power, you trust the tyre experts in AFL Nation. Hanbury brings St Kilda out of the middle and just fires inside, forward 50. Playing in front was Rampy to try and paddle it forward. He was able to get it up at ground level, 49 metres out for an offensive goal. Fox's kick was overcooked to Goulden. And the ball's out of play. Just about 10 metres around towards their goal from St Kilda's interchange. We'll have a boundary throw for Spitwater, tough and ready. Ticking up just over 11 minutes played. Makita ruled the outdoors clock. First term marvel on AFL Nation. They broke even in the ruck. And bouncing ball, Mills rose up and he slapped it down only as far as Clark, who skies one about 50 up and 15 long. To left half forward, Blakey the fist, and it breaks over the boundary at left half forward, and we'll have it thrown in again. So St Kilda really did start the game running hot for Ream, steady, hot and strong. Ask your plumber to install a Ream, steady, hot and strong. But the Saints got the Swans got the steadier through Rowbottom. His first goal for Safety Steel Shed stats.
As it's tossed back in half forward for the Saints.
7 points at the MCG. Carlton coming.
Closing in 4 minutes into that encounter down the road at the MCG. As it was a ball up again. Still at half forward. Goulden, Salts and Candy to break through traffic. Franklin, 1-on-1, then 1-on-2. Didn't win out. Henny coming through. Couldn't dispose of it legally. And St Kilda have got a sense of urgency about them at the moment. Battle goes into the harder defensive 50. Ben Long now goes wide with his kick. Leonard at half back. Hops the ball over the top to Hill. He stops and assesses where to go. Elects to go down that boundary line. Membry waiting at the back of a few. Took the mark. Handballed it off to Jones. The quick release to Marshall, who took it on the half volley. Couldn't strike the tackle. Play on the call from the umpire. Blakey. Ross getting in the way. Hanbury retreating with a handball to Hill, who puts it back inside, attacking 50, but a great mark. Cutting across, McInerney taking it in his 50th appearance for the Swans. A short ball to Lloyd.
This is what they do almost better than anyone in the competition, Michael Barlow. They're second in the comp for scores from intercept possessions. They outscore their opponents by 17.8 points per game. Safety Steel Shed stats. If they can work this through now. At right half back, McInerney shut down with nowhere to go, so he spreads wider by a hand to Fox, who can run his full measure and pound it down the broadcast wing. Hickey couldn't take the mark, but brought it to ground. Clark wrapped up Hanbury in a strong tackle. He squeezed out a little handball, and the Saints had numbers just to force it forward by foot. In the end, the Windhager kick was chopped off by Fox, who's getting a fair bit of it. In fact, it was Marshall. And now Lloyd, forward handball, 15 metres. Goulden, lovely evasive dance step around Marshall. Nice sliding kick inboard at right half forward. Clark Low dart was good to McDonald, who just lost long in the transition. Fake to go back towards goal. Michael Barlow then came up at the kicker. It was a nice leading pattern from Logan McDonald.
It was, and Clark just put it in the space that he told him to go to pretty much. So Clark, a nice entry kick inside forward 50, but how good was Errol Goulden? He's one of the most watchable players in the AFL. He burned off Rowan Marshall and then opened up to his left foot, kicked it on the 45-degree angle, and that's the avenue towards goal for the Swans.
So Logan McDonald on the runway, 40 metres out. He'll kick from on a 45 angle. He just sneaks it inside the right-hand goal post. And they've got the lead, the Swans. So it's taken them to the 14.5-minute mark, and St Kilda have had the bulk of the play. 1-3-9, the Saints, the Swans 2-1-13, and they've got great representation down at the city end. There are a ton of Saints fans, Swans fans here, and old South Melbourne faithful, I reckon you'd find. So 13 plays 9 on the scoreboard for Tyre Power. You trust a tyre experts. Tyre Power, your match day favourites for tyre safety.
Yeah, and some safety steel shed stats. It's been all the Saints in terms of owning possession, 61 possessions to 40. They've had it inside 50 9 times to the Swans 5. Unfortunately, Swans go in, have nice uninterrupted entries and score, whereas the Saints are squandering their opportunities. The defence of the Swans is really holding up.
So back in the middle. Marshall got a hand to it. Reed battling away, threw it away, but luckily the umpire called for it. As it's 1 point at the MCG. Cherries just kicked a goal. So it's all happening in the third quarter around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse. Steele fitted out to Jones, puts it inside, attacking 50, bounces past the contest. Favours King, who runs into an open goal. His second for the afternoon. And the Saints regain the lead. 2-3-15 plays 2-1-13, all thanks to Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts. He's running off for Ream, steady, hot and strong, Max King.
That he is, and the centre square bounce again. They've had 2 looks at goal, or 2 scoring opportunities from centre square bounce, have the Saints. So the ability to get it inside to 1-on-1. Sammy Hargraves mentioned that the Swans are really good at being able to intercept and turn the ball over in general play. That's when they're able to generate the +1. The wingers are able to get back to support. But when you can dump it in there nice and fast against the one-on-one defence, every defence is vulnerable, not just the Swans' defence.
4-0, the centre clearances in favour of St Kilda for safety steel shed stats. This game's finally come alive at the MCG around the grounds Chemist Warehouse. 1 point in it in favour of Collingwood, and they've played, there's still about 16 minutes to play in the third term. Sydney had forced it towards the broadcast wing. Nice work from Stevens to get the kick away before he was tackled. Bottom right-hand point of the square, ball in dispute again. Rowbottom just slaps it forward to advantage. St Kilda with the numbers through Winhager. Sinclair, a tumbler down the broadcast wing that evaded Membry coming up at it with Rampy in tow. And then Paddy McCartan couldn't reel it in before it went over the boundary line in between centre wing and left half forward for the Saints. It's one of the great comeback stories of the year, Paddy McCartan, and he's in great company with that too. Sam Doherty, Ben Cunnington, and last night Michael Hurley hadn't played a game in over 2 years, and when he kicked that goal in the dying stages of the game, and not only did every Essendon player get to him, but most Richmond players got to him. It was just a beautiful moment in footy.
There's Lloyd running through the middle, goes to the outer half forward flank where Hayward takes the mark. Just inside 50 on a 45-degree angle. Hoping to give the handball off, but no one running past.
We've just seen the capacity of the Sydney Swans from stoppage, their ability to work in the phone booth essentially and find handball chains and chain out, and that kick from Lloyd. A full-blown 50-metre across the field kick, running at full speed to hit Hayward. Lace out.
Opens up the angle, kicks it from right on 50. It's a nice-looking grunt. A great goal from Hayward. And the Swans regained the lead. They moved to 3-1-19, leading St Kilda 2-3-15 on the Tyre Power, your trusted tyre experts scoreboard, and an early contender for the goal of the game for Host Plus. That's a plus.
This was like he punched it, didn't he? From about 50 metres. Hayward, he just opened up the angle, but the setup was sublime. The kick from Jake Lloyd, again, put Hayward, his teammate, into the space. So the Sydney Swans ball users, halfback, midfielders, wingers, they get the football centre forward, and they're telling the leading player where to go with the way they're kicking it, and the left hand absolutely knows what the right hand's doing.
I don't know about you, Mickey B, but I find it very exciting to watch teams that have got elite foot skills.
Yep. No, and Sydney's right up the top. They're also playing a couple of tricks
Just
here.
me, Coxie. That's just me.
No, I'm with you.
They're also throwing Chad Warner around to make sure that tag from Windhager is disrupted. He's out on the wing now.
Parker came through, shouldered arms like Justin Langer, leaving one outside off and was able to get handball out to left-hand side, row bottom. Then McInerney steered a flat and low, hard pass back to Parker, who'd run on from 60 metres. He's going to centre this up into the corridor. Leonard came third man up to punch it away from Warner. Got about 25 metres on the fist too. At left half back for the Saints, reclaimed by Sydney via Lloyd, but he ran out of real estate as Heaney and Zach Jones just reacquaint themselves.
WhatsApp message.
Carlton are in front at the G by 5 points.
WhatsApp group messages around the country are going bananas. Mine likewise. All these Carlton supporters are getting up and about. Now they're up by 5 points thanks to Chemist Warehouse. Great savings every day.
Now, we will give you the equation for Carlton in just a minute because the Bulldogs at the moment are in the 8 after their win against Hawthorn today. Collingwood need to win to be top 4. And Carlton need to win by, I think, over a couple of goals
to
make the 8.
On bamboozled. Luckily, Mills has it on the wing, goes short to Reid. He just assesses his options. Goes towards Papley at half forward, who goes to ground in the contest with Patton. He got quicker to his feet, and then got harassed, dumped the footy and's given away the free kick. Great harassment from Tom Papley. He's renowned for that kind of pressure, and he now has the free kick just beyond 50 up against the boundary line.
Live Ladder has Carlton in the 8. Same percentage, 108.9 on the Western Bulldogs.
As Papley goes long, the fist applied from Howard, brought it to ground. Clark's caught by Mills, who attempts to extract it, but is unable to. We get a ball up inside 50 for the Swans, who lead it by 4 points.
So what a season it's been when the last game of the year will finally figure out ladder positions going into finals. Windhager, a little double-handed drop under a heap of congestion, was able just to loft it outside defensive 50. Jones kept his feet when Lloyd didn't, slapped it to his own advantage and then ran past the footy. He's going to get it back now. That was desperate up off the ground from Higgins. Now at the bottom right-hand point of the square, Patton, a little do-si-do work, didn't like what was happening corridor. So he's going to spread it wider at left half back to Leonard, who's got a penetrating right leg, and that is a brilliant pass. He bulleted that to the bottom of the centre circles to a hit-up lead of King. Now King has length on his right leg too. To the top of the square, double foot jump from Membry, couldn't get the elevation. At the back of the pack, they're able to run it out. Blakey gave it to Lloyd, and then Goulden run down. Brilliant stuff from Butler. Opened the door for Jones. Looks into the corridor for Wanganeen Miller. Fisted away by McInerney. Clark was good to evade the oncoming tacklers inside St Kilda's forward 50, and they're able to get themselves out of a jam. To left half back, Logan McDonald will steady it down for the Swans.
He goes long off half back, out of side. Heaney in a contest with Long came to ground. Wanganeen Miller roves the contest, and short ball back to Long. He takes the mark, centre wing out of side. And he's running hot for Ream as well. There'll be a 50-metre penalty.
He's up and about.
7 disposals to his name for Ream. Ask Skill Plumber to install a Ream steady, hot and strong.
Just watched a pretty disappointing effort from Zach Jones after his kick inside forward 50, which missed a few clear open targets. He just started walking. Errol Goulden put 100 metres on him. He spread off him, and if Sydney had got that next chain, Goulden would have got inside forward 50 and having a shot on goal. So it's a two-way game. And Zach Jones on that occasion didn't show two-way football.
Ben Long, man on the mark, stands about 40 metres from goal. He's on a 45-degree angle. He comes in, searching for the Saints. Third, the crowd liked it off the boot. He did as well. And the Saints regain the lead. 2 points. It's toing and froing here at Marvel Stadium. The Saints 3-3-21, Sydney 3-1-19 on the Tyre Power, your trusted tyre expert scoreboard. 23 gone, first term on the Makita clock. We're all the outdoors with Makita. Nicky Barlow with us for Shaw Unify, uniform expert.
And we're enjoying the spectacle. It's free-flowing. It's scores coming. It's all the things you want in an AFL game at the moment. The kick from Leonard off half-back was an absolute ripper moments ago. Max King was standing in the middle and not even calling for the ball, not even interested in receiving the football, but Leonard just kicked it. Again, kick it to the dangerous space and then the player will respond. Max King took the mark. They turn around, they put pressure on the opposition in their front half and end up getting a scoring opportunity off the back of a 50-metre penalty, yes, but nice finish, Ben Long.
Just under 4.5 minutes to play in this first term. Papley couldn't quite accelerate away. It was a brilliant tackle from Ross, and they turn it over, the Swans. Ball just chunked out to the far side of the ground, and Higgins and Blakey will see it over just inside the Saints forward half. So disposal leaders at the moment are 3 Saints, Long 8, Battle 7, Sinclair 6 for Safety Steel Sheds. It's a 4-point lead to Carlton at the MCG. Still just under 11 minutes to play in the third term. Chemist Warehouse, great savings every day from the boundary throw-in. There's a free kick for Shepherding. In the ruck contest, it'll go to Campbell, who gives it quickly to Hanbury, who drives him inside forward 50. Acrobatic attempt from Blakey, brought it down with one hand. It was collected by Paddy McCartan, and he was able to find Papley by foot in the corridor, 20 metres ahead. They'll spread wide now to Lloyd. Wide is still just in front of the Swans interchange to Haywood. Their third goal in this game. Nothing on up ahead, so he's going to retreat to the defensive side of the broadcast wing to Rampy. St Kilda have got back well in numbers here, so Rampy's just going to have to go the dump kick down the line to right half forward. They set themselves. McDonald got to the front of the posse. 2 bites slapped away though by Howard, which is good work. Sinclair just fired a handball forward in hope that the Swans have got numbers at the fall of the ball. They will bring it inside forward 50 via the left peg of Stevens. Reid crashed the pack over the top of Battle. Hunting it was Heaney. Paddles it up to himself and then buried in a brilliant tackle. Josh Battle wins that battle. And in the left back pocket, he might have done himself a mischief here on the bounce by Patton. Stevens brought him down. Parker brought down by his great mate in Hanbury. Opportunity for Haywood, who quickly slaps it onto the right slipper with the banana that was always narrow. It's through for a minor score. 3-2-20. Sydney, St Kilda 3-3-21. So it's a 1-point lead to the Saints, and we've got just under 3 minutes to play first term.
Hill not clean, coming off half back. Wanganeen Miller are under all sorts of pressure. He applies the tackle on Warner, who got rid of it. And then Windhager is able to take Florent over the boundary line and out of play. 10-point margin now for the Blues as they enter time on in the third term.
Interesting across town, but right here there's some mind games going on as well. Warner hasn't had much of an impact with that close checking attention, only 2 possessions for Safety Steel Sheds.
Parker breaking through the pack, unloads a high kick inside 50. McDonald crashed the pack. Heaney around the back of it, tries to dribble it through. It'll be taken on the line by Wilkie. Short ball to Long up against the boundary line. Broadcast back pocket, pops it over the top to Clark. Comes inboard with the kick, but it's okay to Higgins. Half back broadcast side. Saints leading by a point. Late stages first term. The kick is beautiful to Steele. He'll put it inside, attacking 50. Out in front of Mambry, but it dribbles away from him over the line and out of play. We'll throw it in. Inside attacking 50 for the Saints. They lead 3-3-21 to 3-2-20.
And it's always easy sitting on the third floor. Heart rate at about 70 beats per minute. Just should have kicked it towards goal there. Jack Sealy had Windhager out goal side running to grass, so a missed opportunity.
Boundary throw in to land 45 out on a 45 angle. The Saints goals. Both rucks work past it. Coming hard in front of the ruck contest was Hanbury and buried into the ground even harder by Parker. His 2012 premiership teammate. Final game of his career for Dan Hanbury. Ball tossed up. 48 metres out. Marshall got it over the back of Hickey. Windhager found it and gave it to Hanbury. His handball shut down by Warner. Scrounged a little kick out only as far as Clark, who just quickly jammed it on the right boot. Awkward bounce. It broke right at the top of the square. They're fumbling in the goal square. Nervous moments for Sydney, and Blakey handball to Rampy. And it bounced into the right point post, and he's been pinged for deliberate.
Yeah, so because he kept it in and he's handballed it.
I thought he was trying to handball that to a teammate. There was a teammate right there.
Yeah, but I
suppose a replay for car sales, everything you want to know.
If you miss your target, the insufficient intent comes into play. Bradley Hill couldn't get there quick enough, but it's not him.
Windhager steps inside. He was 10 metres around from the right point post. His kick's gone across the face of goal into the left forward pocket. Stevens has now been dragged down by Campbell. He's been pinged for holding the ball. It's a chaotic little period we're going through at the moment.
Speaking of chaotic, around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse, the Blues have put on 6 in the third quarter to be out by 17 points.
Wow. Chemist Warehouse, great savings every day. Campbell back in the side this week. Hasn't kicked a goal all year. He's only played the one game. This pushes across the face into the right forward pocket. It comes off a few sets of hands, and then Rampy slapped it over with intent. And he's given the benefit of the doubt. So I want to see a replay of that Blakey handball. He kept the ball in. He didn't want to rush it and be done for deliberate, so he handballed it back into play, I thought. Might need to get another look at it. Ball spinning back in. Hanbury, brilliant clean pick up off the deck. Gave it to Hill, who's got to turn his back to goal. Feed it outside the arc to Wanganeen Miller, who tried to angle the kick in. Just couldn't get the angle he wanted. It goes out of bounds in the full. Blakey to bring it back into play in the left back pocket for the Saints. We've only got 33 seconds left. Matty Cox, and it's a 1 point St Kilda lead for Taipower.
Been an interesting first term, toing and froing between the two sides. As Blakey goes long, Reid got a fist to it. Clark, bottom of the contest for the Swans, tries to put it out in front of Warner. It takes a clean lead, and he's off. Takes a bounce, running through the middle of Marvel. He goes long. It's a vacant goal square. It's bouncing. It's through. Brilliant passage of play from Chad Warner. His first goal of the match. He was like lightning off half-back Mickey Barlow.
Unbelievable, Chad Warner. That's what he's got. Even watching him run through the banner, my eyes darted across to this flash of white, and I was like, who is this? And that's Chad Warner just going for a canter. When he actually puts the foot to the floor and gets going, it was unbelievable. Out of bounds, put Jack Steele in his wake. He just kicked it to grass. Tommy Papley was out goal side, so if it had a set up for Tommy, he would have been licking his lips at Joe the Goose. But Chad Warner, speed and skill in the red and the white.
He doesn't waste possessions either, Mickey B. Like he gets good meterage for his possessions as well. He's got bulk inside 50 numbers. His score involvements are huge. He ranks really highly, not just at the Swans, but in the competition, in all those really good stats, the stats that make a difference. And he might be leading their best and fairest, would you think?
Yeah, in particular, that middle patch, he was really strong.
So, in the shadows of the first quarter, the Swans take a lead into quarter time. Saints are pushing them all the way and control the bulk of play for a fair chunk of that first term. They're 3-3-21 St Kilda, 4-2-26 are Sydney for Taipower, your trusted tyre experts. Around the grounds, Chemist Warehouse, great savings every day. 7 minutes to play in the third term. And 8-7-55 lead Carlton, 5-7-37. So it's an 18-point lead to the Blues. They've slapped on 6 in this third term, and they have turned that game on its head. We'll be back for the second quarter at Marvel after this on AFL Nation.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for Taipower, your matchday favourites for tyre safety.
Hard Yakka is known for making tough look good, and their new men's and women's winter range is no exception. Gear up head to toe with the new winter staples. From the super warm Sherpa jacket with bonus beanie, shacket or women's zootie, down to their most sustainable boot, the O2 Pump, that features a collar airbag for additional ankle protection. Hard Yakka's new winter range, making tough look good. Available at hardyakka.com.au and available stockists. Hard Yakka, for a new breed of Aussie legends.
Bendix EV hybrid brake pads are designed to meet the changing needs of EV braking systems, ensuring a low environmental impact whilst delivering low dust and quieter operation. Cleaner wheels, longer brake disc life, and Bendix green titanium stripe technology for instant friction without the need for bedding in. Ask for Bendix EV hybrid brake pads at your next service. Bendix, put your foot down with confidence.
I'm a chippy, which means I'm a craftsman. I'm a worker in nearly all weather. I'm a mentor, and I'm a small business owner. But most of all, I'm a dad. Luckily, I'm insured by a mate. I'm R of the Tradies, mate. So get a quote today, online, or call 13-IMAR. They're the Tradies, mate.
Let's IMAR!
The legendary reliability of Toro mowers has made them best on ground at Real Madrid and St Andrews. Then there's the legendary toughness of Toro irrigation that makes them best underground too. And now you can rely on Toro for your home ground. Check out Toro Walk Power Mowers, lithium-powered garden tools and garden irrigation systems, now available at Bunnings Warehouse and your local Toro dealer. For the home ground advantage, you can count on Toro.
Looking for a better value 5G mobile plan? Mate! Get the Soulmates 5G plan with 60 gig of data, 500 gigabyte data bank, and a Tidal Hi-Fi music subscription of just $40 per month. That's right, 5G mobile for just $40 per month. Mate! Why wait? Make the switch to Mate. Visit letsbemates.com.au or search Mate online.
Safety Steel, time to get real.
Tim Watson here. Can you remember as a kid painting goals on the side of your dad's shed and shooting for goals day after day? Well, they built them tough back then, just like the sheds from Safety Steel. For prefab steel kit buildings and custom designed sheds that are tough and durable, search Safety Steel. For your dream shed, search Safety Steel.
Safety Steel, time to get real.
Sustained performance in footy is more than just one great game. It's about playing consistently, game after game, season after season. Host Plus delivers strong performance over the long term, with top returns over 20 years. A top-performing super fund over the long term, that's a plus.
Super Ratings SR50 Balanced Index, December 2021. General advice only. Consider the relevant Host Plus PDS and TMD at hostplus.com.au before deciding if Host Plus is appropriate for you. Past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance.
Search, compare Host Plus today.
Which oil keeps your business moving? Farmers and fleet managers, they know. Construction crews and car mechanics, they know. And you know. Valvoline, the original engine oil.
Dan Murphy's Unbeatable Father's Day catalogue is out now. Shop Unbeatable catalogue offers in store or on the Dan Murphy's app today. But hurry, offers end Wednesday, August 31. Choose to drink wise, conditions apply.
You're listening to the 2022 Premiership season on AFL Nation for Beaumont Tiles. Hybrid flooring in store now.
They've navigated this well, St Kilda. Sinclair now takes it half forward out of side. A piercing ball to King. There's a Swans player down as King from the...
And they're going at Max King.
McDonald feeds it to row bottom, and he's put it straight into the front row. And the Swans get on the scoreboard with a major. Blakey goes long. Reed got a fist to it. Clark, bottom of the contest for the Swans, tries to put it out in front of Warner. He takes it cleanly, and he's off. Takes a bounce, running through the middle of Marvel. He goes long. It's a vacant goal square. It's bouncing it through. Brilliant passage of play from Chad Warner.
Macca's I'm Loving It moments. Catch a quarter pounder range meal at Macca's today.
The Chad with the I'm Loving It moment for Macca's. Catch a quarter pounder range meal at Macca's today. Gave the Swans a 5-point lead heading into the second term. Sam Hargraves, Michael Barlow's here, and this man, What's Hot, Matty Cox, the opening band for Tyre Power, your match day favourites for tyre safety. Around the grounds, Chemist Warehouse, 18, make it a 19-point lead to Carlton. How many goals have they kicked in this third term, please, Michael
quick
Barlow?
Mathematic check, 7.
7-1. It's all happening at the G, and there's plenty to play out here. The Swans, if they win by enough, might be able to get second spot, but it'll take a monumental win.
The Saints will win the clearance through Ross. He puts it inside, attacking 50.
Swans, rather.
Over the head of Butler. McCartan, Paddy of variety. Oh, his handball went astray. Owens feeds it back to Butler. Hemmed in against the boundary line. He runs out of room. It'll be thrown in, forward pocket, out of side for the Saints. They lead 3-3-21. Sydney with that late goal courtesy of Chad Warner, leading 4-2-26. All thanks to McDonald's. Catch a quarter pounder at Macca's. Tossed in. Parker tried to go off the carpet. Went back in after it. Fed the handball out to Rampy. Quick ball, Wilkie. Got a hand to it. And will get the free kick. Attacking side of the outer wing.
So as they started off the first term, they're controlling the footy at the minute, the Saints. So they'll spread to defensive side of the circles. Leonard, another nice delivery out in front of a leading target. This time Hill at right half forward, who turns and goes. Membry was coming back into corridor, had to go back and find in the pocket. Came off hands from Marshall. Quick little give to Membry. Could not get any bend at all on that flying shot on the left. In fact, it just went out to the left. It was slapped back into play. Goulden fed it up off the ground to the run of Rowbottom. Rowbottom was pushed as he kicked. Will it be downfield?
So I think it's going to come back to where Rowbottom kicked the football. Buddy Franklin was a bit deterred because he was...
Yeah, so it was actually the player being pushed over behind Rowbottom, so it's not a downfield on the kicker.
Which is a good position for the Saints to set up their defence, where they were actually caught out if that play had have kept playing out. Ooh.
Reid was the target, was able to outbody Howard with relative ease, send him sprawling to the marble turf, and then took the contested grab. Oh, it's a dangerous switch over the head of Lloyd. He overcooked the kick. Wanganeen Miller just tumbles the handball to the run of Membry. Membry into the right forward pocket. Exquisite delivery for King. Costly turnover. So Max King, after 5 behinds and all the conversations that came after that in the loss to the Lions last week, has kicked 2 straight, a left foot snap in the first, and then just a tumbler from point blank range. Another left foot snap here, and he's pushed that. Well, he's bellied that one, as they say. It's going to stay in left forward pocket, ball fisted over for a minor score. So they'll go to 3-4-22, 4-point lead to the Swans, 4-2-26. We played almost 3 minutes. That's on the scoreboard for McDonald's. Catch a quarter pounder at Macca's. Hey, talk about, do the Swans have a good enough, enough young talent? The Saints have enough young talent coming through, but look at the fact that Windhager from last year's draft, Owens from last year's draft, and Wanganeen Miller from last year's draft all playing today. That's really positive.
I like those 3. They're as good as 3 that have come through for some time because they've hit the trade table significantly in the past 3 to 4 years. Last year went to the draft and have hit.
A couple of next generation academy products in there as well as the Saints transition to half forward. The one-handed grab taken by Haywood just outside 50, broadcast side. He spots Hickey. It was over his head, but it was good enough for Errol Goulden to take the mark. Top of the goal square on a slight angle. He'll go back for the set shot.
Really good small forward craft by Errol Goulden, one of the great names in AFL football.
Man in the contest.
Yeah, so just understanding fall the ball and the keys to going to wide. You get in behind at times when they may get shuffled underneath it, as occurred on that occasion.
He comes in to extend the Swans' lead, and he does just that, Errol Goulden. His first of the afternoon. And the Swans move to 5-2-32, leading St Kilda 3-4-22. All thanks to McDonald's. Catch a quarter pounder range meal at Macca's today. Michael Barlow with us for Shaw Unify Uniform Experts.
You feel it's just the Swans class across the board. It's the more classier names that are going to stand up the longer this goes. The Saints have come out and thrown a few punches figuratively in terms of ground ball and the contest and the clearance, but just the footy IQ. Haywood just kicked that one to the hot spot. Errol Goulden thought he might have a run and jump at it, saw no one else was going to go, and he just protected the drop zone. Down it came, and he's been good. Never wastes a possession, does young Errol.
Oh, Errol.
Michael Barlow.
Oh, Errol.
For Shaw Unify Uniform Experts. Campbell puts body on Hickey. Ball out hit the ground. Owens finds it. Skids it forward to centre half forward. Hill had to fist it away from Lloyd. Goulden overran it. Papley didn't. Dropped the handball over the top into space. Sinclair came hard and fast, charged through. Easy step around. Papley now can angle the kick on the outside of the right boot, and that's going to be a free kick to King. He didn't take the mark. Bounced off his chest, but he was dragged to ground unceremoniously by Thomas McCartan, who was dumped unceremoniously by Max King in the first quarter. An incident we still haven't seen a replay of. Carlton have gone even further ahead. They're 4 goals up over the Pies at the MCG, Chemist Warehouse.
It's all happening. Jesse Motlop standing up at the MCG, but Max King is having a few looks from acute angles.
From 25 around from the left point post, a snap on the way all the way to the line, and that might have had enough on it. Well, Hickey got a hand to it, but that'll be 3 for King. Will they look upstairs?
I think Hickey's resigned to his fate, Sammy.
So that's 3 goals from 4 shots for Max King. None of them have been on a regulation drop punt, though. A left foot snap, a right foot snap, and then one from directly in front, the little dribbler from point blank range. And the Saints cut the margin back to 4 points, 4-4-28. Sydney 5-2-32 for McDonald's. Get your quarter pounder range meal at Macca's today.
Loving his game today, Max King. Yes, it's 3 goals, but he's getting himself involved in the contest physically, isn't he? He's launching at balls, and when you launch at balls and play the ball as he has done so far today, you're going to get free kicks. Some may be considered ticky touchwood, but you've got to put yourself in the position to be adjudicated, and he's done exactly that on a few occasions. He's kicked some really nice goals. Hasn't had the regulation look at goal. He's been kicking them from everywhere so far today.
Steele extracts it in the middle. Sinclair pushed it in front of Windhager. Nice little touch inside 50 this time. Cutting the path off was Fox. Gave the handball across to Rampy, to Blakey. They navigate to
almost
Stevens.
got a hand on that Fox handball too.
Stevens, long high ball to the centre wing. Sinclair confronted by two. Ball at ground level. Parker dispossessed. Rowbottom couldn't get a clean handball away. Now Clark. Although it's going to come back.
8 goal to 1 third term at three-quarter time at the G. Carlton up by 24 points.
Rowbottom gave the handball off. It's a quick kick to centre half forward. Wilkie tackled by Warner. Umpire hovering says, give it to me, I'll ball it up at centre half forward.
And there'd be a few different circumstances around the country today. You'd imagine the Doggies would have boarded their plane in Launceston, looking at the scoreboard relatively comfortably at the MCG. When they land, they might get a rude shock.
It's Rowbottom.
No Wi-Fi on the plane, Mick.
Well, no, not with the AFL's airline that you use. I think the other airline may allow Wi-Fi.
Sinclair to Higgins.
You know who does have Wi-Fi? The bus. You know you can get Wi-Fi on a bus?
Like the public transport bus?
The old Greyhound, I think, has got Wi-Fi.
The weird tangents we go down here.
Greyhound, got on the Spirit of Tassie. They've got to watch the whole thing.
Where's the ball?
No,
left half forward.
We're not treading on the toes of any sponsors, are we?
No. Well, probably.
Let me have a look.
I didn't. Anyway, balls at left half forward. The Swans need to just steady themselves here. They're 4 points to the good of the Saints, but the Saints have really owned the first patch of this quarter in terms of ground position.
Campbell, decisive hand down, and then roved his own work. It's a strong tackle on him by Parker. How is that high? He's twice the size of Parker. I don't know how he could have got him over the shoulder. Didn't.
What a great story Tom Campbell is. He's one of the most likeable guys across the AFL. And with all due respect to him, you'd sometimes forget he was on an AFL list over the past 5 years. But here he is, soldiering on. And I'll come back to a point about Ruckman and their longevity in a second after he has a shot for goal.
Taken from Bendigo's old VFL side, the Bendigo goal. He sees an option in the left forward pocket. It was Campbell. They've worked him under the footy, and Stevens didn't like any handball options, so allowed himself to be pushed over the boundary line 2 metres around from the left point post. He was Western Bulldogs list, North Melbourne list, and now with the Saints.
Rides his bike to and from training. Well, he used to at Arden Street. Well, I saw him once right out of the facility, so he might have done it once.
Campbell again palms it down. Butler went past the footy. Rowbottom didn't, but Butler applied the tackle, and the kick just dribbled off the boot of Rowbottom. But the run comes from Fox. Geez, that kick showed a lot to Leonard, but Papley was able to take the mark before he was able to close it down. Now they'll spread to the far wing. Stevens has come on from the last line of defence. Just pokes a little sand wedge over the top to Goulden. Nonchalant step around to get back on the left. Around Clark, and then a high ball inside forward 50. Leonard fisted away into the right forward pocket over McDonald. Sinclair there first was already putting a handbrake on before he collected the footy. That was phenomenal skill. The kick from Battle, though, was anything but. Went over the head of Clark. Goulden again able to compose on the top edge of the square. He got it to Fox, and then he gave it to the runner Rampy. Rampy, nice use to Papley, backpedaling. Just inside the corridor, inside forward 50, takes the mark to the left or directly in front, 48.5 metres out.
Made a little pump and Papley stretch to his maximum, didn't he? He just popped it on his melon, Rampy, but had enough leg rope on his defender to get up and take the mark. So Papley should be able to cover the distance. He'll have to kick it from right on the paint.
25-22 this year, Papley. Was All-Australian last year. Geez, the forward line's going to be hard to pick for the All-Australians this year. So Papley will kick this from right on the arc of 50. He looks very good off the boot. Watch the celebration. Don't need to watch the ball. Just watch the man. Seeks out high tens better than anybody in the game. Metal detectors aren't as effective as he is at detecting a high 10 possibility. And he got about 5. But more importantly, he got them a game-high 10-point lead on the scoreboard for McDonald's. Catch a quarter-pounder at Macca's with his first.
Yeah, no one really gets around the Pap when he kicks a goal because he gets around.
Gets to you.
He gets around them. The high 10s were going everywhere.
We love him.
Yes, there's a few bruised palms in the forward line. Will Hayward just shaking that one off from that fearsome high attempt from the Pat man.
I reckon there should be an award this year for the greatest goal celebration, because then we'll start to see some choreographed stuff, sort of NFL style. People might, start doing the bowling ball. We might get a human pyramid made out there one day and sell, just something creative.
We got the bow and arrow.
You'd think perhaps would.
Well, there you go.
Durs was up there. Favourite across the pre-season. That award.
Get creative, people.
Have that one wrapped up year in, year out. Blakey at half-back for the Swans. Fed it to Florence, who was a little too hot for Goulden. Slipped through his fingertips. Long wasn't able to keep it in.
We call it the Mark Williams medal.
The old bow and arrow.
The shotgun from Mark Williams.
Shotgun. The bow and arrow is still
Xavier
the
Dursma.
barometer.
He's the archer.
What's the barometer do?
Barometer's a little shotgun action, but now he's just more like a double-handed, like that sort of manoeuvre.
How's it go again, Sammy? Thank you very much. As Wanganeen Miller received the handball, fed it to Hill. They just popped it into a bit of space, searching for Butler. He's confronted. Warner tried to extract it. Stevens' handball smothered, and then it was stolen by Wanganeen Miller. Fed it to Hanbury up against the boundary line. Found Hill. Back to Wanganeen Miller, who goes to ground, gets back up, puts the kick to half forward. To no avail. Lakey takes the intercept mark at half-back on the outer side for the Sydney Swans. They lead by 10 points. We're 12, make it 13 minutes gone in this second term, thanks to Makita. All the outdoors with Makita. High ball to the centre wing on the outer side. Battle nearly laid claim to it. Marshall dished the handball out to Patton. Goes wide at Wanganeen Miller. Got an unkind bounce. It favoured Reid. He tracked backwards to Parker, who lobs it in the Buddy direction. Had two to beat. Ball at ground. Patton got there first for the Saints. Found Ross, who finds Wilkie. And now lean it up against the boundary line. Navigates traffic. Short ball is okay to Owens at half-back.
Yeah, Carsales replay. I know Dibba-Dobbers wear nappies, but I don't know whether Luke Parker may have thrown out a little foot to trip Wanganeen Miller there. I don't know if tripping's still a thing. Oh, the handball to Ross went behind him from Patton, and then the door was open for Heaney. But he sold an exorbitant amount of candy on Wilkie. Slick little dish like Stockton to Malone. This time, though, Franklin to McDonald. McDonald into goal. Oh, that was delightful. That is the play of the day for visitmildura.com.au. If you're looking for an exciting weekend trip away, visit mildura.com.au. And if you're looking for an exciting team to watch, the Swans might just be the most exciting in the comp.
They make you pay on turnover, don't they? It was an inexcusable fumble which opened the door for the Swans. Buddy Franklin uses McDonald. Probably could have given the Joe the Goose to Will Hayward in the square, but took the responsibility on himself.
That wouldn't have looked as good.
Well, there would have been 6 points more certain than a running shot from 30, I think from 3 metres rather than 30. But in any case, that's 15 inside, or 17 inside 50s now. They've just had a few repeat numbers for safety steel sheds, and they've scored 9 times, so they're going in with it. High efficiency.
That's the senior coach coming out of Michael Barlow.
Give it to the guy in the goal square, make a certainty of it, please.
Wet blanket Barlow.
AFL Nation, for sure, unify your uniform experts. It's a battle on the centre wing broadcast side. McDonald getting involved again. Found Warner. McInerney has to retreat with the handball to Lloyd, who just waits and assesses. Goes long. Heaney went to ground out the back. Reid wanted to dish off the handball. And he probably should have in the end, because he lined up for the shot. And it was well to the left-hand side, a minus score from 20 metres out. He looked around, he had about 4 players he could have dished the handball off, realised there was no pressure, went for the shot and missed it.
Well, that's...
Now, Michael Barlow.
Now, just give it to the person who's running into an open goal, Sam. Don't follow the lead of Logan McDonald just moments before, who made good on it. But, Sammy, you're getting on a bit. Your just skill level might have just deteriorated, son.
Saints have turned it over again, coming out of defensive 50. Logan McDonald hospitaled Warner, had to rise up and might have been tunnelled away. Couldn't bring the mark down. Ball spills to Hill, arches the back and Dosey-Does around Reid, who just coughed up a golden opportunity before the handball through Hunter Clark under the bus, and now he's under a pack of players who were foraging for the footy. Ross wanted it more than anyone. Fired out a handball to Hill, and it broke left on him when he needed to bounce right. Owens couldn't take it, but Florent could. A flying kick inside, forward 50. Backpedaling and dropping the mark was Battle. Provided a bow around it. A gift for Heaney, who's able to gather and dribble it through from the top of the square. And they've got a few in a row now, the Swans, and they've got a game-high lead. 21 points on the scoreboard for McDonald's. Catch a quarter pounder at Macca's. Heaney's first.
Just coming around the contest, the longer this game is going, Sydney is starting to buy their way back into the contest. They've been absolutely smacked around clearance, 20-10, the way of the Saints. They've intercepted a fair bit, been able to utilise the ball through the corridor to score. But the Swans, in terms of contested possession, have really hung in there. They're even in that stat, despite defending from the deep parts of the ground when clearance has gone against them. So they've hung in, and now the floodgates just look like they're starting to open with skill.
Heaney obviously would have to be in the conversation for All-Australian. How good's his crumbing work been today?
Yeah, just go to where 8 times out of 10 it's going to fall, and you'll get your looks like Isaac Heaney does.
Series of handballs off halfback for the Swans, and they bring it to the broadcast side where Hayward takes the mark on the logo, pops it over the top to Lloyd, who kept running. He takes the mark, attacking side of the broadcast wing. Swans by 23 points.
Carlton by 24.
Lloyd gave it off to McInerney, short ball to Mills at half forward. Final term underway at the MCG as it goes inside 50 here at Marvel. Buddy flew. Goulden at the fall of footy puts a handball into some space for Stevens, who's running out of room. It was a cute kick back into play. Didn't make the distance for Goulden. His kick smothered. McCartan coming through. That was Tom. Nearly got his head ripped off by Hanbury. Rowbottom extracts it. The underground handball bobbled for McInerney. Sinclair battling away. Feeds it to Long. And the Saints are off half back, but there is no one really home. It's a foot race at half forward. Lloyd pushed off it by Butler. Wins the footy. Does a little dance to pop it over the top. Was searching for King to run onto it. Membry got there instead. Fed it back to King. He sells the candy. Back to Membry. Centering ball for Owens. Too hot for him. Too cute from the Saints. And Rowbottom off half back to clear for the Swans.
It spreads it to Goulden, who just pats the air and says, slow down, slow down. Hey, what about the work rate of Tim Membry? Created the smother that turned it over in the left back pocket and almost found a target when he got up to the left forward pocket. Gee, that's incredible work rate from a key forward, Michael Barlow.
That's why you do the 150s in November, December, January, Sammy. You got to get up and down the ground.
Owens won it back for St Kilda, handballed it back to Ross on the top edge of the square. Inboard handball, found Jones. He put it out in front of the runner Steele, who was able to collect it on the bounce, fed it back to Owens by hand, and they spread then by hand to Hanbury. His kick just too far in front of Butler, who gave up on it. And it almost bounced, it almost stayed into play. Eddie McCartan tracked it over, though. Over boundary throw in 30 metres around from the left point post.
I've got a conspiracy theory. I don't know if Dan Butler likes Jack Higgins. He should have just handballed the ball over to him to run into an open goal, should he? He just went the cuter kick out towards Max King moments ago. They missed out on a certain goal.
Jones roving traffic, fed it to Hanbury from a step. The wild shot goes across the face of goal and will bounce over the boundary line and out of play. Collingwood have kicked a goal back early stages in the last quarter at the MCG around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse. Great savings every day. It's now Carlton by 19 points. It's tossed back into play here at Marvel Stadium. A 23-point lead to the Swans, but we're inside 50 for the Saints. Butler tried to go off the carpet. Lloyd came through and picked it up instead. Trying to put the handball to Rowbottom. Fended off traffic, found Blakey by hand. And just went for Hope with the kick. McDonald arms outstretched, got shoved away from it. Wilkie lost control of it. Patton there for some support. Gave it to Battle. He goes back towards half forward for St Kilda. The intercept mark taken by Heaney. He goes short. McInerney at halfback for the Swans. Found Hayward under pressure from Sinclair. Maybe it was a little rough in the contest.
Blakey charging through the middle of Marvel was confronted by Ross. Got a handball to Heaney. Heaney kicked it out and it's a foot race into the right forward pocket. Wanganeen Miller, it gets there in front of Clark. It came off the foot of Wanganeen Miller. A last line of defence battle. Needed to be shepherded out was McDonald, but Battle gets the kick away, and it was a brilliant kick as well, sliding in on knees as Jones in front of Reid at right half back, and that was poise amongst panic for the Saints then.
They got all the numbers back though, so when Jones took that mark, he has to wait, try and create
Jones
something.
has just sold candy straight into Reid, who didn't have a sweet tooth, kept the wallet in the pocket, said I'm not buying, and it's all bottled up at left half forward for St Kilda. Have you ever seen a candy sell into the buyer? Into the buyer. He sold it into him.
Well, he's a former Swan. so they would know the tricks of Zach Jones, but he did have nothing ahead, so he had to try and get creative.
He ran straight into him, though, Mickey B.
Yes, but he tried. At least he tried.
Well, that's
last
Courage
game of the
getting
home
back
and away
with the
season
flight.
for them.
Long got back with the flight, a hurried kick inside forward 50 for the Swans, and he took the grab with Buddy bearing down, and then the left half back, Higgins. Can they build at half back now along the far side wing?
Oh, goes searching for memory, but he didn't get a kind bounce. Tom McCartan happy to see it over the boundary line and out of play. We'll throw it in.
Into him, Mickey Barlow.
I know, yeah. I wouldn't mind a replay for Carstairs, everything you ought to know.
He hung it out to the right.
And he kept running straight.
And he kept going.
Yeah.
He didn't deviate.
No. Under 12 stuff.
There's the senior coach we wanted from Mickey Barlow. Campbell down the ground.
Express yourself.
Level
today,
it's
boys.
All Swans. Clark got rid of it. Now they cause a turnover. Steele working with Windhager. Goes down the boundary line. King got it knocked away from him. Ross fed it to Wanganeen Miller, who's caught immediately by Rowbottom. Ball going nowhere. Rowbottom to receive the free kick. Just defensive side of the outer wing for the Swans. 22 and a half gone in this second term on the Makita clock.
20 points at the MCG, Chemist Warehouse. Carlton lead. 13 to play.
Ball towards half forward for the Swans. Long. Almost went to ground. Kept his feet just. Found Patton by hand, who bobbles it up to Wanganeen Miller. It's a nice passage of play. Hit up play for the Saints as Max King takes the mark on the centre wing. Finds Patton inboard. Almost a man running across his mark, but
that was well officiated. He was following his man, and then
that rule. Common sense has prevailed with that rule the longer the season's gone.
Steele goes deep inside 50 for the Saints, but it's to no avail. Sam Reid standing in the way takes the intercept mark.
Good grab from Jimmy. Right back pocket. Look up Jimmy Yellowstone, you'll know what I'm talking about. Oh, Florent, little drop mark, uncontested from Rampy that he missed. Fox coming through by hand. Mills' kick was well smothered by Steele. He butted up to tackle Stevens. His handball to Fox did him no favours with Ross right on his hammer. And the ball goes out of play at left half forward. So that's a win for the Saints to get a stoppage. Just outside 50. 12 and a half to play at the MCG for Chemist Warehouse, and it's the Blues by 20 points. Reid in the ruck against Marshall. Lovely palm down. Front and square running past was Warner. He drives it up to right half forward. Franklin acrobatic was bumped off. It almost brought it to the ground with the juggle in the contest with Wilkie. Heaney again at the feet of Franklin. Did not hear Sinclair coming. He mowed him down. Ball in the back, and it's been reversed because he gave him a little shove for good measure. That's soft.
Oh, they've given it back to them, though.
And Heaney's put it over the head of Haywood. Patton coming through the middle. Don't know why he handballed that to Windhager when Rowbottom was actually in front of him. Rowbottom collects, and a little squib kick inside forward 50. Long the don't argue on Heaney. Then he tripped over, getting it to Wilkie. He fed it back by hand, just a 15 metres out in the left back pocket from defensive goal. Battle kicked it to a one-on-one with Stevens. And Steele's fist, though, went straight to Mills, and he just lofts a very high ball about 40 metres up into the path of Franklin. And Battle's infringed on Buddy. He'll get a free kick.
Just played in front of the Bud.
Quick play on from Bud around onto the left. Vacant goal square. Left foot snap is good. From a man who good is just not good enough to describe him. Goal number 1,044 for Buddy Franklin. Will he be in red and white next year? It remains to be seen. While he's in this side, they are a much better side, Michael Barlow.
Yes, nice finish by the Bard. Played in front, got the free kick, and went back and converted truly. And they kick away, don't they? This could get a little bit ugly. 29 points, the margin. They're starting to really own the ball in their own front half. Their speed and skills coming into it, and around the ground for Chemist Warehouse, Sam Hargraves.
Yeah, Collingwood have just kicked one, so it's 14 points with 11 and a half to play. 10-11-71 Carlton, 8-9-57 Collingwood. And on the scoreboard here for McDonald's, catch a quarter pounder at Macca's today. 57 plays, 28. It is a 29-point Swans lead. McDonald's catch a quarter pounder range meal at Macca's today. Matty Cox.
As this margin increases, a top two chance still on the line for the Swans. Comes an opportunity here for Max King, who from 45 metres out gets the reply from the Saints.
Can't miss today.
He was running away from his opponent, who went to ground. His fourth goal after kicking 0-5 last week, Michael Barlow.
They're lucky they have Max King out there today. They've got a nice response from him, 4 goals out of their 5.
As the Saints move to 5-4-34, Swans 9-3-57, all thanks to McDonald's. Catch a quarter pounder at Macca's. Where's the consistency lie then for Max King? We can see what he's done for the last, let's say, month, and then he comes out full of confidence today.
Yeah, he's getting looks, and I think the 0-5, when we weigh it all up and when he sits down in his exit meeting in the coming week, he still had 5 looks at goal. Like, you've got to look at it. You're getting looks. Why are you getting looks? You're getting looks on the back of work rate, talent, putting yourself in the right positions, and conversion will come as it has today.
But just remember, that's a kick on the run, so there's nothing wrong with his field kicking, which is essentially what that is. He's had a left foot snap, a right foot snap, and a dribble up from point blank range. So we still haven't seen the set shot, and it's the set shot where people have got the concerns on the action. Yes, Coxie, medical substitution, please.
Yeah, Papley off, Wicks on.
Now let's try and find out what that's all about. Just having a look at the replay for car sales, everything you ought to know. And down on the boundary for Spitwater, tough and ready. Papley sitting on the bench, looking none too impressed. So Kilda go forward. Hanbury, that was a sizzler to Ross, who just pokes it inboard. So 55 out, Bradley Hill will go around. Hickey on the mark. Kick the slap out of the hands of Steele. It was good defence from Blakey. Up off the deck there, Hickey. He just scrounges a kick to the broadcast wing. McDonald on the end of it. He slows it up. We've got 1:50 left in the quarter for Makita Ruley Outdoors.
Boundary
Sydney
update.
running hot for Ream, over 80 years manufacturing in Australia.
Boundary update, Spitwater tough and ready. Concussion for Papley.
Did we see the incident where he got hurt? Oh, that kick risky from Stevens, but it got its way to McInerney. Then it almost chopped it off. Now no one went on the mark, so McInerney can drive Sydney inside forward 50. Oh, the smallest man in that contest was Long. He had Reid and Franklin to beat, and he was able to take it on the second bite and do just that. And he retreats by foot to Membry. Just at the top of the defensive goal square. Patton in the left back pocket. And he kicks it to the lead of Wanganeen Miller up 49 metres out from the Swans' goal.
Goes in search of Hanbury playing his final game. He takes the mark and he's off. Running along the outer boundary line. Inboard to King in a contest. He takes the mark. Sells the candy to get the handball to Owens. From a standing start, 45 out. He's hit the woodwork. It was all building up there for the Saints. Clean passage of play. But sadly, the kick slammed into the post. 5-5-35. The Saints trailing the Swans. 9-3-57. All thanks to McDonald's. Catch a quarter pounder at Macca's.
Safety seal sheds. Mitch Owens showing some form today, leading all comers for contested possessions, leading that stat with 8.
Would have been an important goal. So 57 plays 35. 22-point Swans lead for McDonald's. In the right back pocket. Just a dump kick down the line on the far wing from Lloyd. Patton tried to claim the mark off 3 sets of hands. No one went at him, so he was able to put him inside forward 50 again. The Saints fisted away from Campbell. Front and square work was clean and crisp from Lloyd to the run of Blakey. Blakey can spread it to the bottom right-hand point of the square. McDonald really exaggerated the pat down, calm down motion. Sort of has the reverse effect when you look so frantic in the motion, Logan. As the siren sounds for the first half, Swans in control at the moment. As it stands, they are 1.4 percentage points behind Melbourne in second spot. So second spot on the ladder, still not out of their grasp. It'll take a big second half to do so. At the MCG with 7.5 to play in the final term, 10-12-72. Carlton, as Mackay just kicked the ball out of bounds on the full, actually was behind, so 10-13-73. Collingwood 8-9-57. So at the moment, Carlton have got 8th spot on the ladder. This season going all the way down to the wire. There's a big second half to come on AFL Nation after this.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for McDonald's. Warm up with an apple pie at Macca's.
Sasha has a restaurant. Her challenge. Renew her business insurance policy and save money. Sasha, your time starts...
Yeah, it's all done.
But how could you...
I just went online to BizCover and got a business insurance pack. Saved me around $600.
But I want more drama.
Yeah, I don't.
There are literally no dramas when you go to BizCover, the business insurance specialists. Save time, money and get instant cover at bizcover.com.au.
Which oil keeps your business moving? Farmers and fleet managers, they know. Construction crews and car mechanics, they know. And you know. Valvoline, the original engine oil.
Bring some excitement to game day with Big Screen Video, Australia's digital display experts. We're giving 10 lucky sports clubs the chance to win a $10,000 grant towards their own LED scoreboard. Register now at iCanWin.com.au/BSB. T&Cs apply. See website for details.
Connect with Beaumont Tiles and grow your business. Go to iCanWin.com.au. You could win a $25,000 advertising boost to take your business to the next level, supported by Beaumont Tiles. Builders, renovators, tilers, enter now. iCanWin.com.au.
Hi, it's Daisy Pearce. Toyota's Good for Footy program plays a vital role in the community, raising funds for local grassroots football clubs. And it's the local legends within those clubs that get the job done. Here's a local legend sharing their club's story.
Hi, I'm Toby Norman from the Healesville Football Netball Club. Healesville Toyota has had a relationship with our club for the best part of 40 years. They regularly commit over $5,000 each season, and it's the type of financial support that helps our club keep on top of player payments, make improvements to the club rooms and run social events. Healesville Toyota also help the club by purchasing new jumpers and equipment for the juniors.
Another great example of Toyota's support for community grassroots football. Now that's good for footy. Oh, what a feeling, Toyota.
Want to build a new home but need to move in now? Henley has fixed price completed homes and townhomes ready to buy with premium inclusions in the best locations. Get the Henley Everyday Advantage. Buy a completed home and move in now. Henley.com.au.
Bendix General CT brake pads are the everyday braking solution with stealth advanced technology for smoother, quieter, more comfortable driving. Blue titanium stripe technology eliminates the bedding in process, while noise-absorbing shims reduce vibration and noise. For improved stopping performance, low dust, low rotor wear and enhanced durability, ask for Bendix General CT brake pads at your next service. Bendix. Put your foot down with confidence.
Go on, make the call. We all believe in you. One at a time, please. Thousands of Aussies keep switching to Kogan Mobile, but hurry right now. You can get started with Kogan from just $2.90 for 30 days, with unlimited calls and texts and a big 20 gig of data at award-winning prepaid prices. Make the call. Switch to Kogan Mobile from just $2.90 for the first 30 days at koganmobile.com.au/radio.
Think this is just a hose with holes in it? No way, Jose. This is Pope Drip Ease. Deceptively clever irrigation made right here in Australia. Drip Ease drips drops onto plants precisely with a low, slow flow. So there's less runoff and less water wasted. Whether watering your flower beds or veggie garden, Pope Drip Ease will make it a breeze.
A better way to water is a Pope.
Dan Murphy's Unbeatable Father's Day catalogue is out now. Shop Unbeatable catalogue offers in store or on the Dan Murphy's app today. But hurry, offers end Wednesday, August 31. Choose to drink wise. Conditions apply.
You're listening to the 2022 Premiership season on AFL Nation for Beaumont Tiles. Hybrid flooring in store now.
Handball to Ross went behind him from Patton and then the door was open for Heaney. But he sold an exorbitant amount of candy on Wilkie. Slick little dish like Stockton to Malone. This time though, Franklin to McDonald. McDonald into goal. Oh, that was delightful.
Comes an opportunity here for Max King, who from 45 metres out gets the reply from the Saints.
Macca's I'm Loving It moments. Catch a quarter pounder range meal at Macca's today.
A late consolation goal there for Max King, allow the Saints to move to 5-5-35, but they trail the Swans at half-time, 9-3 at 57. The I'm Loving It moments for Macca's. Catch a quarter pounder range meal at Macca's today. There was one at the MCG just moments ago as we're looking on our screens here at Marvel Stadium. Bo McCreary kicked it from just inside 50 up against the boundary line for a goal to bring it back to 5 points. There's 4.5 minutes remaining in that encounter down the road at the MCG. We're in the Coates commentary box here at Marvel Stadium, though. Coates, we're more than higher. We're equipped for anything. It's time for the halftime floor show for Choices Flooring. Hybrid flooring from Choices Flooring.
The Choices Flooring Halftime Floor Show. Choices Flooring's Abode Hybrid Collection. The water-resistant flooring choice.
Swans by 22 points at the main break here at Marvel Stadium. The stats wrap for Safety Steel Sheds, designed to save, built to last. And Hanbury leads all comers in his final game at AFL level, 31 years of age. He's playing in his 226th game today. The three-time All-Australian has 17 disposals to his name at the moment. The best for the Swans, Jake Lloyd with 15. The stats wrap for Safety Steel Sheds, designed to save, built to last. The MEGT Rookie of the Day, your career, your business, their job. There's a few young Saints running around, but has someone else caught your attention, Mickey Barlow?
Mitch Owens. I think he's been very good in the contest. He's had 13 possessions, 8 of which have been in the contest. So doing his work. Would have been nice to get on the scoreboard and kick that goal right towards the back end of the first half, but not to be. He's been very good, has Mitch Owens.
MEGT, supporting employers and apprentices for over 40 years. Call 13MEGT. The player of the day so far for Whirlpool, designed for environment. Mentioned Hanbury's had a fair bit of the footy. Does he factor into the equation?
Well, he does, but I think without Max King at the moment for the Saints, it's a pretty grim outcome. So 4 goals in a half. He's on track. If you do the math on that, Coxie, he's on track for 8. So that's a pretty handy day out.
That is one mathematic equation I can do this afternoon.
Well,
I'll leave the
4
live
times 2
ladder to you to delve into. The Amy Clanger, who covers Clangers. Amy does from the first half.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Sam Reid miss. He had 4 or 5 options just to give a little dinky handball to, and they would have run into an open goal, but he missed the shot at goal when he went back and tried to do it himself.
Still a 5-point margin at the MCG. We're keeping one eye on that. 2.5 to play in the final
1.5 eyes.
Australian-made smart play. It's important to buy Australian right now.
Loving Errol Goulden's game as a whole, but he's just so clever. His ability to understand where the drop of the ball is, and there was a forward 50 entry that got kicked nice and deep into the Swans forward line. He just knew it was going to drop to the back, went back, took a nice mark, and finished with the goal.
Support Aussie-made products. The injury update for victorsports.com.au. We learnt just prior to the halftime siren that Tom Papley has been subbed out of the game for the Swans with concussion. Sam Wicks comes into the encounter. The substitute today for St Kilda is Dean Kent, who not only is playing his 100th game today, but it also is his farewell. 28 years of age, picked 48 back in 2012, played 63 games at Melbourne. His last game today is at the unactivated sub at the moment, as it looks as though the Pies are in front.
Live ladder will be interesting, Coxie, because this, if it stopped right now, I think they would hold on, wouldn't they? The Blues, in terms of, we'll get Sammy Hargraves, who's doing nothing. Let's get him working in the background, Coxie, and we'll keep swinging through the half. Jamie Elliott, gee whiz, some big moments for him. Obviously, the match winner weeks ago against Essendon on the hooter, and he's just kicked an absolutely brilliant goal deep in the left forward pocket.
Which comes off the back of Beau McCreary's goal, which was just as stunning a few moments ago. So they are on a roll, and they now lead by a point. There's
Carlton were up by 24 points early in the final term. So that goal puts Collingwood into top 4. It knocks Fremantle out.
And it puts the Dogs into the 8.
And it puts the Dogs into the 8.6%.
I feel sick. And I go for no one, apart from Freo.
Of a percent.
Actually,
there's still a minute 41 left to play. I'll let you guys keep going through the awards.
You keep watching, Sammy.
We've got to... I'll keep watching. You guys get through the awards because we've got to get back from an ad break to get the start of this second half.
This could be the unmissable moment for Drinkwise, due just to Drinkwise, but
not even in our game.
Hanbury, I've liked Dan Hanbury's game. His stats have been tremendous. He's found a lot of the ball in the contest and the clearance. So in his farewell game, he's getting to work. He's up to 17 possessions. He's had 5 clearances, so going very well is Dan Hanbury.
We're up in the Coates commentary box for Coates. We're more than higher. We're equipped for anything now. Sammy, that was the halftime floor show thanks to Choices Flooring.
Young Durden has just kicked the ball into the right forward pocket, looking for a lead that was none, and Howe has chopped it off with 55 seconds left. That was their chance, you feel.
Water-resistant flooring choice for Choices Flooring. Do we hold here? We've got 45 seconds left.
It's going to be a throw-in. Keep going,
might just stay with it. The ball's out of play at right half forward for Carlton.
And not only are we looking at the mathematical equation for this game, but for the Swans this afternoon, as we alluded to during that second term, Michael Barlow, the further the margin gets for the Sydney Swans, the potential for them to move into second spot on the ladder becomes
Cripps
much
has just
more
been done
realistic.
for holding the ball
and that'll
with
be
34
enough,
seconds left at left half
a
back.
long down the line or a one uncontested mark. And you do
Here's
feel,
the thing, Carlton have kicked 10-14
you do
to
feel
11-9, so they've had their chances, Mickey B.
They've had their chances, and there's a blood rule. Scott Pender will be making his way off. The atmosphere would be something to behold if you were there as a neutral and as a football lover. I was there a bit earlier today, and it was building into a very, very festive and somewhat frosty atmosphere with Collingwood and Carlton.
How do Collingwood keep coming back?
After the, 27-point loss to the Swans last week? Well, the live
24 points down early in the last. Carlton had an 8-goal-to-1 third term. Every bit of momentum and then some.
You'd think a long kick, nice and wide, the coach in me would say long kick, get it out or get a stoppie, or get the ball back and you're a chance. Wiedering's got it.
It's kick's gone.
Oh, no.
In dispute at right half forward for them, but
Collingwood are going to win.
I think that's Collingwood are going to win by a point. That's extraordinary.
I'm going to go for a walk.
Absolutely extraordinary. 4 seconds left. How do they continue to find a way? There's just sometimes not an explanation for things in sport, and Collingwood are testament to that. Collingwood are going to finish the season in the top 4. They are 4th on the ladder and will have a double chance in finals. Carlton are going to miss. Extraordinary scenes at the MCG, Coxie. Extraordinary scenes.
I'd be interested to know where the Dogs are right now, because they could possibly be in the air.
And the Dogs are going to finish 8th.
They could have left in the air, thinking, 24 points down, or they could have... The whirlwind of emotions is remarkable. And football can be a cruel game, and genuinely sparing a thought for all those that have allegiance to the navy blue.
And for the team that currently has a half to play here at Marvel Stadium, they currently sit in 3rd on the ladder as well, the Sydney Swans. We'll take a break. Second half coming your way on the other side of this here on AFL Nation. It's the Swans by 22 points over the Saints.
A sports news update for Rolled. Eat good with Rolled. It's fast, fresh Vietnamese.
I'm Victoria Raptors with your sports update for Rolled. Geelong marked Patrick Dangerfield's 300th game with a minor premiership and an 85-point win over West Coast. Cats coach Chris Scott says the side is in good stead for finals.
No, I don't think we could have given ourselves a much better chance with the cards we've been dealt.
Elsewhere, Gold Coast defeated North Melbourne by 67 points, wins also to Richmond, Port Adelaide and Fremantle. In the NRL, Cronulla secured a top 4 berth with a 40-6 defeat of Manly. The Eels overcame the Bulldogs 42-6 and the Roosters defeated the Tigers 72-6. To rugby, and the Wallaroos were outclassed by the Black Ferns 52-5.
A sports news update for Rolled. Fast, fresh Vietnamese. Listening to the 2022 Premiership season on AFL Nation for Beaumont Tiles. Hybrid flooring in store now.
Safety Steel, time to get real.
Tim Watson here. Can you remember as a kid painting goals on the side of your dad's shed and shooting for goals day after day? Well, they built them tough back then, just like the sheds from Safety Steel. For prefab, steel kit buildings and custom-designed sheds that are tough and durable, search Safety Steel. For your dream shed, search Safety Steel.
Safety Steel, time to get real.
After a win in the first, Baz's day is off to a flyer.
You beauty!
By race 2, his phone's at 20%.
Oh, I'm in strife here.
His MyKey, FBoss, betting app, Uber, and the number of his new love interest he's meeting for dinner is all connected to his mobile. Don't be like Baz. Remember 3 things this racing season: your phone, your keys, and your Signet power bank. You'll never run out of charge with a Signet power bank. Aussie owned, Aussie designed. Signet.com.
And you got the quaddie too.
Sounds lovely. What is that?
Never mind. Let's talk about you.
At Elders Insurance, our support for our local community is hands-on. From local football to your favourite events, we give back in the ways that matter most to you. And because we live and work where you do, we can take the time to get to know you and your needs, as well as our community. Find your local agent at eldersinsurance.com.au or call 1356 22. Elders Insurance is underwritten by QBE. Visit eldersinsurance.com.au to read the PDS and TMD to decide if this product is right for you.
If you've come home to find your property has been damaged, call 131 444.
If you've had something stolen from your car, call 131 444.
If you've lost something or found something valuable, call 131 444.
If you want to register a party or let us know you're going away on holiday, call 131 444.
So save 131 444 to your phone for when you need the police but not the sirens. For more information and for online reporting, visit police.vic.gov.au.
Authorised by the Victorian Government, Melbourne.
It's time to clean up your career and finally be your own boss with a guaranteed income. Clean It has been a leader in commercial property services for over 30 years. And now they are growing with new franchises right around Australia. With a huge contract base, including graffiti removal, high-pressure cleaning, building washing, and more, you'll be backed by an established brand with unlimited earning potential. Download your Clean It franchise info pack at cleanit.com.au. That's KLEENIT.
Imagine driving tomorrow's car today. Imagine the quality and innovation of a Hyundai Tucson SUV. Striking design inside and out. Powerful performance, advanced safety and technology. A selected range of Tucsons, including the powerful fuel-efficient diesel all-wheel drive models, are in stock now, ready to drive away. Tech Drive a Tucson to see why tomorrow wants its car back. Visit Hyundai.com.au for details. Imagine that. Hyundai.
Sustained performance in footy is more than just one great game. It's about playing consistently, game after game, season after season. Host Plus delivers strong performance over the long term, with top returns over 20 years. A top-performing super fund over the long term, that's a plus.
Super Ratings SR50 Balanced Index, December 2021. General advice only. Consider the relevant Host Plus PDS and TMD at hostplus.com.au before deciding if Host Plus is appropriate for you. Past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance.
Search, compare Host Plus today.
Raise your quarter pounder and say cheers to a free Macca's glass. Simply buy a medium or large quarter pounder range extra value meal and start collecting today. Available after 10:30am for a limited time while stocks last.
Want to build a new home but need to move in now? Henley has fixed price completed homes and townhomes ready to buy with premium inclusions in the best locations. Get the Henley Everyday Advantage. Buy a completed home and move in now. Henley.com.au.
You're listening to the 2022 Premiership season on AFL Nation for Beaumont Tiles. Hybrid flooring in store now.
This phenomenal season has a half to go in the home and away after what just unfolded at the MCG. There is still a fair bit to play out here. The Swans with a real chance of locking in second spot on the ladder after Collingwood got a 1-point win, down 24 points early in the last after Carlton kicked 8 goals to 1 in the third. Collingwood have finished the season in 4th and Carlton have missed the finals. Western Bulldogs will finish 8th. And it's a 22-point lead to the Swans with a half to play and plenty to play for. The opening boundary term for Tyre Power. Your match day favourites for tyre safety, Matty Cox.
Parker puts it inside 50 for the Swans. They were unable to escape the tackle, but there'll be a free kick that will go their way. And it will be Wicks, a substitute made for Papley, who went from the ground with concussion.
Yeah, so a little bit unlucky. Wicks had his head over the ball, and I feel like a St Kilda player was pushed into his shoulders. It was clearly head high, but no intent behind it, or malicious intent.
Margin 22 points. Wicks, you can tell he's just come on the ground because he hooked that massively and it's gone out on the full. It'll be a St Kilda free kick in the back pocket on the outer side. So the Swans 9-3-57, leading the Saints 5-5-35. As Hickey went up for the mark and takes it for the Swans, just outside attacking 50. So they've started positively in this third quarter. Lloyd gives it off to Fox, running past, runs to about 60 out, puts it deep for the Swans. Clark fumbled it to the ground. Wilkie, Sinclair combined by hand. Hills tracking towards the score line, used all available room, and then was able to hit up Steele in the back pocket on the outer side, and it will be a 50-metre penalty for encroaching the mark.
Hunter Clark's been subbed out of the game. The 100-gamer Dean Kent for his 100th and final game has been subbed in. I'll find out what has happened to Hunter Clark.
As Steele comes to the broadcast side with a kick, and he hits up Hill. He goes short. It's a long, pops the handball over the top to the other retiree in today's game, Hanbury. Puts it inside attacking 50, and Membry just held his ground and a few others swarming around him. He stood tall, took the mark, and will line up on a 45-degree angle. Will have to kick from beyond 50, Michael Barr.
It'll take a good effort, Tim Membry, the former Swan. Sometimes overlooked, isn't it, that he's played for both of these clubs.
It's his fifth inside 50.
Yes, that's a lot of numbers. So he's on track for 10. But this will take a good effort from Tim Membry to bring some life back into this match.
The King kicked the last of that second term. Membry opens the angle from right on 50. Was offline the moment it hit the boot. And it's been knocked through for a minor score to get us underway in this third quarter.
I think that came off Hickey's head. I think he falconed himself. He went up with a fist, and in the end, that just bounced straight off the top of his bonds.
There's also there's a fair bit of cross-pollination between these two clubs out there today. Tom Hickey, former Saint, Sun and Eagle.
Zach Jones.
Tim Membry, who just got a hand on the exit kick coming out of defence from Fox. Hill just fisted back in to the Saints forward 50. Membry was just hustled off the footy by Tom McCartan, and the ball breaks left and goes out of play at left half forward. So we'll have a boundary throw in for Spitwater, tough and ready.
Paddy McCartan.
Yes.
And just on Dan Hanbury, you mentioned fifth inside 50, and a huge amount of the football as well across the day. Playing with a fair bit of freedom. And I think his 19th game or 18th game for the club is going to be arguably his best.
Warner took it off hands, and speaking of hands, getting to it was Reid, who flew up high, and then Buddy got crumbs, was able to get hands free in a tackle on Wilkie. He gave it inboard in front of the circles to Lloyd, who spreads very wide to the outer side to Goulden. Called to play on now, just inside his attacking half. He lasers one, low, flat and hard, hoping for Hayward, but Patton got front spot, and he got an arm chop too from Hayward, so he'll get the free kick. Still 5-6-36 at the 21-point Sydney lead, 9-3-57. Inside 4 minutes for Mate, make the switch to Mate Mobile, and the Saints make the switch to their defensive goal square, and then straight up the corridor to 35 out Hill. Didn't get the depth on the kick, hoping to get it to Wilkie. Now he's got a hassle on his hands in the form of Reid. He's able to feed a handball up off the ground to Long, who got it moving forward to Hanbury. Runs his measure at left half forward and kicks to a one-on-one Butler and Fox. Butler got one hand to it and couldn't reel in the mark. Fox paddled it backwards to Rampy. Rampy, long looping handball into the corridor, 49 out for an offensive goal. Rampy got it back, got to be quick. King got to push on him, pushed him in the back. Steele did chop it off low to the ground in front of the circles, but the push in the back was paid against King, and it'll be a Rampy free kick.
Felt like Max King half gave up on the chase, and he was within arm's reach of Rampy, and then the push was just out of desperation when he realised he actually could close it down.
So Hickey to Fox to Mills, centre wing broadcast side. It'll go back to Fox, not the distance, had to play on quickly, went inboard to Tom McCartan, hoists it towards half forward, broadcast side, Long, claiming that he took the mark, and eventually the whistle's blown to say that he did. Long inside defensive 50 for the Saints. Just holding up the damn wall at the moment. Howard, hesitant, looked to go to the outer side. Does now with the short ball to Long, who then goes further afield, searching for Sinclair, impacted in the contest by Clark, and is awarded a free kick. Half-back outer side. He pierces one to Membry, defensive side of the outer wing. Swans by 21 points. 5.5 gone on the Makita clock in this third quarter. The high kick, Marshall was claiming to be held, and he wins the free kick. 60 from home, turns around quickly, puts it inside, 50, Campbell the target. The fist applied, brought it to ground. Owens can't keep it in. He's harassed by 2 over the boundary line and out of play.
It's been fairly stale start to the third quarter, only the one behind registered since the half-time score. So Sydney have come out and we just looked to put a little bit of juice into the game, and Sydney is quelling that, St Kilda quelling that, I should say, with their intensity.
Desperate smother from Campbell, who stopped Parker's kick from exiting defensive 50, and now it's bottled up again. 25 out directly in front of the Saints goal. Tossed up. Hickey got it on the second bite as they broke even, just swivelling and kicking in one motion, high and lofting it out of defensive 50 was row bottom. Reed crashed the pack and took 2 bodies with him. Now they were able to run and spread. McInerney kicks to the expanse of the right half forward. Foot race Heaney and Hill. Unkind bounce for Heaney. Able to find on the second bite. Kent was able to bump him off the footy, but the Heaney kick found Franklin. Tumbling forward, playing in front of Wilkie. 35 out, 45 angle.
They did well. They worked the outnumber well, did Heaney and Hayward. The bounce of the ball was very unkind, but then Hayward came over and laid a nice shepherd, allowed Heaney to come back onto the footy. It was a scrambled kick inside forward 50. But the Bud, as he's done for so often of his career, play in front, and the ball will land in your pouch, and you'll go back and hopefully convert.
He's kicked 1, Buddy. 49 for the year. This will be 50 for the year. Still getting it done. Still putting up big numbers. Still an out-and-out force of nature in this competition, and will be a force in finals. From the set shot, slams it into the left goal post. Bud, please, I've given you an almighty wrap-up there. Not that you need it from me. I think your career would speak for itself. Doesn't need any assistance from me in any way, shape or form. But he's a star, and the game is better for him being in it. So let's enjoy him while we've got him. Just a minor, so back out to 22 points in favour of the Swans for Mate. Make the switch to Mate Mobile.
Sinclair goes long towards the outer wing and still positioned himself well. Takes the mark, pop it over the top, and finds Kent, who gets an applause from the Saints fans. Finally playing his 100th. He's delivered that beautifully to Windhager, who takes the mark just inside 50 on a slight angle.
Hunter Clark's been subbed out with Dean Kent on to the ground.
He's in his final and 100th game. And Marcus Windhager, what a season that he's had. 17 games, this is his 18th. Rising star last week, pick 47 last year, has done some incredible tagging roles and has done that beautifully. Marcus Windhager gets the goal, and it gives a little bit of life for Saints fans as we cross 8.5 minutes in this third term. They move to 5-6-42. Sydney 9-4-58, all thanks to Mate, Australia's most satisfied NBN customers.
Big arm wrestle to start this second half, hasn't it been? And a nice finish, Windhager. They'll go to the end of the season, the Saints, they'll miss finals, and it will have a different feel to it internally, you would imagine, with Owens coming on, with Windhager coming on, with Wanganeen Malera coming on. Tick. Those three, they'll bounce. They'll bounce in the next season and be magnets that Brett Ratton can immediately put onto his board and make them better.
Windhager was picked 47. As I said before, only Nick Dacos and McDonald for Hawthorn have played more games from last year's draftees. Big collision coming out of forward 50 was King, who confronted Florent, all fair and legal. But what Butler did to Rampy wasn't. Pushed him in the back and pushed him over, and Dane Rampy will get a free kick 49 metres out.
They're pressing
from the Saints goal at right half back. He's just going to dump that kick down the broadcast wing. Hayward, nice sit. Couldn't complete the mark. Buddy Franklin overran it. Warner Stevens didn't. Fed it back to Hayward. Had it kicked out of his hands by Jones, who then butted up and applied the tackle on Goulden to see him out of play in front of the Saints interchange for Spitwater. Tough and ready. First goal of the quarter going to St Kilda. It's a crucial moment for New Farm. Australian through and through. And the ball spinning back into play. 58 plays 42, 16-point Swans lead.
Hager was battling for it. Warner just pushed it forward in the end for the Swans.
Class.
Sinclair courage, and then had to apply the tackle on Goulden. It's extracted by Butler, who's himself taken into the turf. Eventually the umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball it up.
And watching Jack Sinclair up close, this is right in front of our broadcast position. He's just got class. He was surrounded by Swans. They're putting into a lot of attention to him, and he got out, got a nice handball, and then followed up with a tackle.
The free kick's been awarded for holding in the ruck. It's going the way of Hickey. Centre wing on the broadcast side. Swans by 16 points. But the Saints have a pulse. Hickey going inside 50. Pack collided. Hill dumps. Didn't get rid of it cleanly. And gives the free kick the way of Sydney. And it will be...
We'll kick this.
Warner to take the free kick.
What do you reckon, Mickey B?
He's a class act, this boy. Number 39 drafted in a national draft from WA. So he's won. They're hard always to get right, but 39 seems a little bit low for a man of this potential.
Kicked a brilliant goal just prior to quarter time. He's hooked this badly beyond the arc. It's still in play in the forward pocket. Heaney's threaded the needle beautifully from the pocket. He got given the handball. He had traffic all around him. Saw the eye of the needle and threaded it through for his second this afternoon. And Sydney put it back out to 22 points as we cross 12 minutes in this third term. That's all thanks to Mate. Make the switch to Mate Mobile. And the clock thanks to Makita. Rule the outdoors with Makita.
Speaking of class, we've just pumped up Chad Warner and then Isaac Heaney. So clean. The ball came to him. He did a little goose step before he even received the ball, which threw a couple of Saints off his scent. And then a left foot slam on the boot between a couple of legs, arms, and all sorts of limbs flying around. So a nice finish by Isaac Heaney. And if it's not Heaney, it's Goulden. If it's not Goulden, it's Hayward. If it's not Hayward, it's big Lance Franklin.
Disrespect by Channel 7 shown to this game. I just looked up the TV and it said epic end to the AFL regular season. It's still going. There's a half a footy to be played. Well, a quarter and a half at least as the Swans go inside forward 50. Wilkie's won a crucial one-on-one with Buddy, but he didn't count on him having mates arrive and apply a strong tackle. And the ball is bottled up, 30 out, directly in front of the Swans goal. They're kicking to the City end. McDonald palmed it down to Mills, who shoveled out a handball. Clark, clever little tap in the right forward pocket to Stevens, who can arch around, get back on his left, centre it to Franklin, got worked underneath the footy. It spills nicely for Wicks, gave it back to Buddy, who was immediately tackled by Butler. He took on the Butler tackle and lost. Tenacious from Butler. Brought down the much bigger man. And that's a crucial win. And a tough win. So Butler sends him out to the far side wing to mount a counter-attack.
Goes over the back of the contest. Fox following up. Oh, his handball. Australia, Wanganeen, Millerer. His kick affected. It's over the boundary line and out of play between centre wing and half forward on the outer side. You're just joining us this afternoon around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse. Great savings every day. Collingwood defeated Carlton by a point to end the Blues season. And earlier today, the Western Bulldogs by 23 points over Hawthorn as it's trundled back over the boundary line and out of play in the same spot. Toss it back in. 10-4, 64 Sydney, leading St Kilda 6-6-42 thanks to Mate Internet and Mobile. Mate 5G mobile plans from $40.
They're 1.5 percentage points out of second at the moment, the Swans, on the live ladder.
As Mills lays the tackle on the centre wing, it'll be a ball up on the logo.
That's the big safety steel shed stat that we're looking at.
The home finals still up for grabs for the Swans. The top 8 not set just yet. Butler went without it. Lloyd, some holding going away of St Kilda, and it will be Butler to take the kick. Goes inboard, but it was really risky. Hayward takes the intercept mark. Elects to slow things down to allow the Swans to reposition. Finds McDonald just outside 50. And he now waits for a target. Just a short little ball on offer to Stevens. Still outside, attacking 50. Broadcast side of the ground.
Amazing. Buddy still draws 4 defenders for these long balls inside forward 50.
Stevens elects to go long in the Buddy direction. Had 2 to beat. Was he being held? He was. He's going to get a set shot from directly in front. Top of the goal square.
It was only fleeting. Cal Wilkie took his eyes off the footy, wrapped his arms around Buddy Franklin.
And he puts it into the second tier at Marvel Stadium. His second goal of the night.
50 for the year.
Proving that he's still got it.
He's still got it, absolutely. The big bud looming large the longer the game goes, out to 30 points. Now it's just on watch to see what the margin will be, you'd imagine, and what those ramifications are for the ladder the longer it goes.
So it's all mathematical. Couldn't have asked for a better end to the 2022 season. That's exactly what you want. The top 8 not decided until the final whistle sounds in the final game of the final round. Sets up a massive final series.
Everyone will need the week off, Sammy, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it's the conversation will be bubbling all through the week. Do you or don't you like the pre-finals bye? Hanbury, another centre clearance for him. He tumbles the ball to the bottom left-hand point of the square. It evaded King. First on the scene is Stevens, but he's claimed immediately by Hill. Umpire gives himself a hug and says 5 metres in from the boundary. At left half forward, about 60 from home for the Saints. I'll toss it up. 8:06 on the Makita Ruley Outdoors clock to play. Reed got it down. It came out of a few sets of hands to Stevens, who pounded it down. Long got a beautiful little sit just off the middle back of Wicks, and he quickly played on to the back of the centre circles to Wanganeen Millera. There's the mark of the day so far. They'll spread even wider. The far side wing, Membry. Little Sam Wedge over the top. He's good to Patton. Just in between right half forward and centre wing. Not a player inside Sydney's forward half, so he just goes on the lateral to his left-hand side, just the required Wanganeen Millera, inches it forward and finds Ross, top left-hand point of the centre square. Slow, methodical, and now a more meaningful entry to a 2-on-1 King, rising up over the top. Paddy McCartan there to collect crumbs at ground level was Florent, turned it around the body under some pressure. The kick evaded Ross and then broke back in his favour. He couldn't collect it, and neither could Haywood, but Jones could. Steps through a few. The forward handball missed the target in Butler, and then Florent turns it straight back over, and the Saints can mount something now at centre half back with Leonard,
who comes to the broadcast side and finds Hill, defensive side of the wing. He'll go to half forward. Player on is Higgins. Unopposed, takes the mark. He's attacking side of the broadcast wing. Lows up inside, attacking 50. Reed the fly for the Swans, brought it to ground. Butler off the carpet. Found Heaney, who was the gatekeeper on the last line of defence. Found McInerney at half back. Went searching for McDonald. Well held by Howard. Jones. The Saints trying to push it forward again. Hanbury emerges with it. Fitted inboard to Ross. Comes further afield to Steele. His eyes light up, and then his kick smothered by Warner. Luckily had support in Windhager. Dishes the handball back to Leonard. Virtually in the middle of Marvel. He now puts it to the lead of King, who crashes the contest. Everyone goes down like 10 pins. It's in the pocket. Owens trying to fire the handball. It was affected by Paddy McCartan. Stolen away by Parker. And he'll legs a defensive 50. Heaney almost completed the mark. It'll be a chopping of the arms. Saints fans aren't happy. And there's a couple of wounded players, Michael Barlow.
This is a brutal game. The AFL.
Blakey down.
And Blakey's down. He was absolutely steamrolled by Max King, coming hard at a contest. And he's slow to get up. Hopefully just winded. Nice step, Heens.
Yep, showed a heap of it to Ross and was able to just break through his attempted tackle. The kick, though, did Reed no favours. Campbell got front spot for the Saints. And we'll get a free kick from an arm chop from Reed at left half back. So we're ticking up to 20 minutes played in the third term. Makita Ruley Outdoors clock. 28-point Swans lead for Mate Internet and Mobile. Mate 5G mobile plans from $40. Saints just slow playing this. They need to score another goal. At the moment, the Saints 1.5 percentage points still outside the 8. And St Kilda may be slow playing this just to deny them. You're at centre half back. Going nowhere in a hurry with Dougal Howard, who spreads to left half back. Leonard, bottom right hand point of the square. They work it forward about 15 metres to Ross. Ross will work around Franklin on the mark. He'll place it out in front of Marshall. It was a good fist from Paddy McCartan. The crumbs were collected by Reid to Parker. Heaney fires out a long-range handball just inside the field to play Stevens. Showed a lot of it in the air for Howard, but Franklin protected the drop zone and took the mark 55 out, 5 metres in at right half forward. Quickly gets it moving. Loops around onto the left. McDonald, third man up was Patton, and then the collect at ground level. Fed it back to Ross, and he gets it forward to Lynn at left back pocket. And we're out of a jam here, the Saints.
Howard nearly walked it over the line, but it was okay. He took the mark in front of Buddy.
Buddy, speaking of 3 goals and some really good one-on-one wins, a nice time of year to be playing his best football.
1.1 percentage points outside top 2 now. Just updates the Swans safety skill shed stats.
Bills takes the mark. You feel that this is a crucial moment for the Saints, for New Farm, Australian through and through. They coughed it up as they were exiting defensive 50. Now Mills puts it back inside attacking 50 for the Swans. McDonald, his handball astray. Clark found the gap, bouncing ball, top of the goal square. Heaney in a battle with Wilkie, who's taken over the boundary line and out of play. Will throw it in. Forward pocket broadcast side for the Swans. They're 11-4-70. St Kilda 6-6-42. All thanks to Make the switch to Make Mobile.
So as it stands at the moment, Mickey B, that if the Swans finish third, they'd have an MCG final against Melbourne in week 1. Ball thrown back in. Campbell. Now that might be deliberate. That goal. A little kick off the ground. It was in fact from Heaney. So that just broke to the right-hand side. I was just getting the Bushnells up to the peepers. Heaney's looking really dangerous inside forward 50, just always at the fall of the ball, just a minor score. So it'll be a 29-point Sydney lead. And we've got 3 and change left to play on Makita Ruley Outdoors clock. 11-5-71 Sydney as they muck around St Kilda coming out of defence. The near side wing, big fist Campbell, front and square work from Fox. The tackle was even better from Butler, who jams it onto the right peg and gains meterage to left half forward.
To no avail. Florent meets it first. He tracks backwards to Stevens, who takes the mark. Just defensive side of the broadcast wing.
And that's where Sydney are really good. The ball goes into their defensive half. They get numbers back. They've got athletes like Florent, like Blakey, that can get back support and then start their offence.
Stevens goes long. Howard came late to the contest, got a fist to it. At ground level, Parker found Rowbottom. Now Warner, he puts the afterburners on again, but couldn't escape cleanly. And his kick was affected in the end. He was searching for Buddy, but Wilkie got in the way. He'll go short to Brad Hill, who has some space to work with as he exits defensive 50. Finds Owens by hand in the centre circles. Goes further afield to Windhager. Just escaped the tackle from Mills, but his kick was affected. Owens picked it up, fed it to Steele. Finds Higgins, who dodges traffic. Puts the handball wide for Membry. He also does a sidestep. Has to retreat to Wanganeen Millerer from 40 metres out. He's missed to the right-hand side. And a minor score, 6-7-43. Plays 11-5-71. Swans in front thanks to Mate.
A really nice connection of hands, wasn't it? It would have been a nice passage to play through the middle of the ground. They just needed to find a player that could open up and kick the goal. He felt like that was Jack Higgins. And then he retreated and went back, and the Swans scrapped, and the result was a behind.
Around the grounds, Chemist Warehouse, great savings every day. Dogs beat the Hawks by 23 points today to get into the 8. Carlton were 24 points up early in the last after an 8-goal-to-1 third term against the Pies. Pies came back and won that by a point to secure top 4 and to bundle Carlton out of the top 8 altogether. Lovely sidestep to get back inboard by Stevens around Hill, and it's a daisy cutter to Buddy, who was up to the task of getting low to complete the mark. The cruise by came from Florent. He honoured the run, Buddy. He bounces it into the right forward pocket for Hayward, who had time in front of Lynn to stop, backpedal and assess, and just scalp the one onto the sternum of Heaney. 4 metres out, tighter than a 45 angle. Put it in the book.
Yeah, smart play. The ability to just use the overlap run by Florent, pop it out into the space of Hayward. That's all skill, that's all class, that's all connection of teammates.
Right shoulder to goal for Heaney, looking for his third. One step and across the face in a minor score.
Looking at that.
Nope. I'll just scribble that one out.
Everyone has to find the wide out. Thanks, Sammy.
Come on, Isaac. That's bread and butter. Stock and trade.
Yeah, left foot banana, probably open enough angle just to go to the dropping.
29 points. The Sydney lead for Mate. Make the switch to Mate Mobile. There's 49 seconds left. Makita Ruley Outdoors clock in the third term. Can't afford to leave too many out there, Coxman, because percentage. We keep talking percentage.
Heaney would be in line for the player of the day for Whirlpool Kitchen and Laundry Appliances for what he's provided inside attacking 50, and he slotted that goal. McCartan ended up with the free kick. Paddy goes inside 50 once again. Hickey outstretched arms. Heaney doing the roving work because it slipped through his fingers. Fed it off to Clark. He goes across the face of goal. McDonald takes the mark, but it's gone out on the full. Big moments have gone begging in the dying stages of this term. The Bendix breaks, confidence stopping Bendix breaks for the Sydney Swans. They could have just snuffed out any chance for the Saints as Patton goes long. Tom McCartan getting in the way. Ground level, it was handballed towards Kent's. Cut off by Florent, who found Fox, and then McInerney fumbled, allows Sinclair to open the door. Mark taken by Campbell. Player out inside 50 as the skipper still. He gives the handball off to Higgins, who runs into an open goal on the siren. It'll count. All clear given. And in the end, Higgins kicks his first for the night after a few opportunities went begging in the first term. But he slots it to make things a little more intriguing as we turn for home. 7-7-49, St Kilda leading Sydney 11-6-72. That's all thanks to Mate Internet and Mobile. Mate 5G mobile plans from $40. 1 quarter remaining in the home and away season. It's the Swans leading by 23 points as we turn for home on AFL Nation.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for Mate Internet and Mobile. Award-winning Aussie service. Mobile plans from $20.
Campbell Brown here with Andrew Shea, CEO of Builders Academy. Andrew, Builders Academy have won multiple training awards recently. Tell me, what's the secret?
Thanks, Brownie. We're really proud to have had over 8,000 graduates. We offer online, classroom-based and worksite training, and most of our students are able to study with subsidies from the Victorian Government. We're really proud of our industry-leading completion rates and the outcomes we help our students achieve to become registered building legends.
Thanks, Andrew. Get in touch with Builders Academy on 1300 Legend.
RTO 21583.
When you're running a business, you're always working hard. Sure, you've got a team to help carry the load, but the buck stops with you. Makes sense then that you should use a payment solution that helps make getting paid easier. Easy Debit is the all-in-one payment solution. Whether it's direct debit for recurring or subscription payments, BPay for invoicing, FPOS, phone or online payments. When it comes to dollars, it just makes sense. Easy Debit. Payments done in one. Search EZI Debit today.
From first-time browsing to big-time arousing, Sexyland is all about fun. We have Australia's biggest range of sexy costumes, couples' toys, fun gifts and games for adults. And our team of fun specialists are always here to help in-store and online. Sexyland 11 stores open 7 days until midnight in Melbourne and Geelong, or shop online and get 2-hour delivery.
Take me now, I'm coming. Take me now, Sexyland.
The home and away footy season is nearly over, and for teams not finals bound, it's end of season trip time. If you're planning a road trip yourself, stop in at Tyre Power's store-wide super sale on now. Having the experts at Tyre Power checking your tread can ensure you save money in the long run and enjoy peace of mind driving with safe tyres on holidays. Plus, get this month's deal on Kumho tyres. Buy 3, get 1 free on Kumho passenger and SUV tyres. Store-wide super sale on now. Find your local at tyrepower.com.au.
Go on, make the call. We all believe in you. One at a time, please. Thousands of Aussies keep switching to Kogan Mobile. But hurry right now. You can get started with Kogan from just $2.90 for 30 days. With unlimited calls and texts and a big 20 gig of data at award-winning prepaid prices. Make the call. Switch to Kogan Mobile from just $2.90 for the first 30 days at koganmobile.com.au/radio.
Kane has a carpentry business. His challenge to renew his public liability insurance for less than his old policy. On your marks, get set.
Yeah, I just did it.
What?
Yeah, I went online to BizCover. Took 5 minutes. I compared a bunch of policies. I saved over $250.
So, no dramas?
No dramas at all.
There are literally no dramas when you go to BizCover, the business insurance specialists. Save time, money, and get instant cover at bizcover.com.au.
Imagine driving tomorrow's car today. Imagine the quality and innovation of a Hyundai Tucson SUV. Striking design inside and out. Powerful performance, advanced safety and technology. A selected range of Tucsons, including the powerful fuel-efficient diesel all-wheel drive models, are in stock now, ready to drive away. Tech drive a Tucson to see why tomorrow wants its car back. Visit Hyundai.com.au for details. Imagine that. Hyundai.
What's one good reason for installing an access hatch in the roof?
Escaping a zombie attack?
Or a safer way to do roof repairs?
That makes sense.
Roofing and Sheet Metal Centre make custom roof hatches from Colorbond, zinc or gal. They're great for commercial or residential roofs that need regular maintenance.
Or an escape hatch.
Roofing and Sheet Metal Centre. Everything sheet metal from the roof down. Visit rscentre.com.au today.
You're listening to the 2022 Premiership season on AFL Nation for Beaumont Tiles. Hybrid flooring in store now.
Wing play in the forward pocket. Heaney's threaded the needle beautifully from the pocket. Sydney put it back out to 22 points. Cut off by Florent, who found Fox, and then McInerney fumbled, allows Sinclair to open the door. Mark taken by Campbell. Player out inside 50 as the skipper steal. He gives the handball off to Higgins, who runs into an open goal on the siren. It'll count. All clear given.
Macca's I'm Loving It moments. Catch a quarter pounder range meal at Macca's today.
Well, the Swans have got a 23-point lead heading into the final term at Marvel Stadium on AFL Nation. That won't be enough to make up the percentage that they need to get themselves into second spot and leapfrog Melbourne to get a home final at the SCG. 130.5 percentage points are Melbourne, 128.9 are Sydney at the moment. So the Saints have had equal inside 50s, 38 apiece, and they're plus 10 with centre clearances. Michael Barlow, safety steal shared. Michael Barlow, sure, unify your team. They should be a little bit more in this than they are, the Saints. They've kicked 7-7 to 11-6.
They're hanging around. So, and the Swans, you'd imagine, will try and take the game on a little bit more to chase that percentage. So opportunities might open up, and St Kilda will be intimately aware of that.
Opening bounce for Tyre Power, your matchday favourites for Tyre safety. It'll be Hannah Breeny's last game. Fed the handball out to Sinclair. Goes inside 50 with the kick. Evaded the contest in the end. Rampy fed it to Paddy McCartan, who finds Fox. Exiting defensive 50. Zach Jones met the contest hard. Got the fist involved. And the ball's tracked over the boundary line and out of play by Florent, half forward on the broadcast side.
Blakey hasn't returned either from the three-quarter time huddle, and Josh Battle is out. So there's a bit of collateral happening out here at Marvel today, and I found out where the doggies were when the siren went, Coxie. I'll come back to that.
As Warner tries to escape the tackle, fed the handball to Mills, who found Florent at half-back, goes in the Buddy direction, who held his position well. Beat Wilkie. Zach Jones closing in. Buddy got the kick away in time inside 50. Leonard holding his spot in the heart of defensive 50, takes the intercept mark. And he's been one of the positive signs this afternoon from St Kilda.
He's been a nice pick-up, Jared Leonard.
So he went to Wilkie in the right back pocket, and he put it into a more central location for Hill, who's going to scamper around Heaney on the mark. 40 out from his defensive goal. He just airs it out to the far side wing and nicely to the run of Long, who can turn and steer it into the outstretched hands of Membry. So now they're into their attacking half, the Saints. 23-point Sydney lead.
And whilst there's percentage to chase, Sammy, they can't lose sight of winning the game. Because they lose the game, they actually fall out of the top four. So Fremantle fans sweating on that.
Mickey B slides the kick through the hands of Tom Campbell and mopping up out the back where the 50 meets the boundary was called, and then he put it up on a platter for Wicks to be dealt with by Long in the air, and Wicks took umbrage to it, went straight after Long, and now there's a little fracas.
There is a bit of a fracas. So Long, who's been good today, he's had a lot of the football. We'll need a replay of that to determine if Benny Long is in any strife. So
free kick,
the contact was high. Here's the replay. Oh, just a bicep muscle to the chops
Sinclair at half-back. Takes
massage.
the footy. Found Butler on the half volley. He goes by hand to Wanganeen Millero. Steps around Goulden brilliantly. Takes a bounce. Puts it inside 50 and finds Steele.
He's a jet. He is going to be a jet.
Found a few, the Saints, throughout the course of this season. Windhager getting rewarded last weekend, and Wanganeen Millero, as we catch a look at that on the Carsales replay screen, just phenomenal.
Just with utter disdain. The step, that was filthy. It was unreal.
And one up against Errol Goulden, who's himself can deliver.
Not a plotter, is he?
No. As Steele opens up the angle, kicks from just within inside the 50. Ark is slotted it. So the skipper leading from the front in this final term with 3 minutes into it on the Makita clock. Ruley outdoors with Makita. That is a big moment in the match for the Saints. As they move to 8-7-55, trailing the Swans 11-6-72. All thanks to McDonald's. Catch a quarter pounder at Macca's, but that is a massive moment. Michael Barlow for Bendix Brakes. Put your foot down with confidence, Bendix Brakes.
And as always, he puts his hand up for the toughest player, Hard Jack, a legendary gear, doesn't he? Jack Steele, he just gets to work every week in the contest, but that was a polished finish. So they're hanging around, they're sniffing around. And as I said, Sydney won't want to get too far ahead of themselves. They've just got to get the W and get into the top four. And wherever that lands them, wherever they play in the fortnight's time, they get on with it.
You can set your watch to Jack Steele, hard yakker for a new breed of legends. Good tackle on row bottom. Saints fans wanted ball. It spills out of that tackle to Lloyd, an elevated kick, and Heaney work-leaned it underneath it, then stepped back into trouble. Dropped it to Warner, who was in even more trouble. Was able to squeeze out a handball out of defensive 50, away from goal. Went back in and found it.
No
Set
way.
sail off a step. Oh, stop it, Chad. It faded left.
He got a piece.
Got a real sizable bit of purchase.
He's got a chunk of off a step.
He's got a powerful kick on him for a guy his size. Sinclair, that hung a long time in the air for Marshall, allowed Lloyd to get a fist. Marshall lost his feet when it was Florin who affected the spoil. His kick, though, smothered by Long. Now in dispute, Butler missed Ross by hand. Wicks threaded a needle handball, running towards goal. Was Reid, who quick snap in the right forward pocket after getting it from Parker. My sleep-deprived brain just decided to shut down momentarily, but Leanick got a hand on it, and it's a rush behind, although we will have a score review. The Sleep Better with Spinal Ease pillows on sale now at spinaleze.com.au.
And whilst that score review is taking place, the Western Bulldogs were still in Tasmania watching that. They looked like they were just enjoying themselves, so they might be staying the night in Tasmania to figure out what the rest of their season may look like, or what the start of their post-season will look like in a couple of weeks' time.
Clearly touched by Leonard. We're just standing on ceremony here. A score review, Sleep Better with a Spinal Ease pillow on sale now at spinaleze.com.au. So no goal to Reid, just a minor score, so it'll go to 11-8-74. St Kilda 8-7-55. 19-point Sydney lead for McDonald's. Catch a quarter pounder at Macca's today. Corridor.
Campbell takes a strong mark in the middle, fed the handball off to Hanbury, who puts it inside 50. Vacant space. Butler tried to greet it. Mills got there first. Gave the handball to Goulden, who's kicked it out on the full. The momentum has just shifted ever so slightly in the favour of the Saints, who are trying to finish their season on a high and farewell a couple of great contributors to their club. Short ball to Ross. Attacking side of the outer wing. He waits. Called to play on. So stabs the footy into the pocket. There was no real target in the end. Errol Goulden takes the mark.
Yeah, the Swans invited. They were inviting the switch, and Ross thought about it, and then he just tried to bite off a chiselled pass which wasn't there.
Oh, massive climb Long. Long by name, and a long stretch up into the skies of marble. That's a brilliant mark, although the kick that went back to Leonard was anything but, and the Hanbury tackle was everything and all and more. Quickly plays on, pokes it inboard. Wicks is 45 out directly in front, and how anticlimactic was that? Long just climbing up. Great mark, although the Franklin kick that was fed back and missed the target. And it's going to be a free kick to Long, who went back with courage. the Wicks kick rather. It's a free kick to Long, who got taken out in the air. He does the courageous stuff, does Ben Long. To left half back, Wilkie will slow it down.
It's a big game, Ben Long. He's up to 24 possessions. A huge amount of marks as well. So he's one that, again, for the Saints to go to the next level, he's one that can go up 20-30%.
Ball to the wing. Off hands. Fox tracking it. At support. Florent gives the handball back to Lloyd. Finds Goulden up against the boundary line at half back. High ball to the wing, and again, stretching his arms out is Long. Pokes it to Steele. Just attacking side of the outer wing for the Saints. He holds. Goes further back on his mark. Goes with a long drop punt inside, attacking 50. Membry flew, didn't bring it in. Paddy McCartan just gets boots a ball, trying to escape, but it goes straight back down the throat of Steele, who takes the mark, attacking side of the outer wing.
8:10 played in the fourth. Makita rule the outdoors clock. It's still a 19-point Sydney lead, but all the attacking being done by St Kilda. Wilkie inches it forward, just the required. Just inside the field to play at left half forward, about 60 from home. Wanganeen Miller sees an option into the left forward pocket. A bit too much depth on the kick for King, and it goes out of bounds on the full. Errol Goulden will bring the Swans back into play.
And Luke Parker, he was guarding the mark of Wanganeen Miller. He went and stood his 5 metres back, knowing that he would need a bit of a build-up if Wanganeen Miller was going to try and take him on and goose step him on the mark.
No one stood the mark on Goulden, so he was able to get maximum distance out of defensive 50, but he pumped it straight down the gullet of Campbell. They concede. Still inside the centre square, top left-hand point of it. Jones stabbed the pass to Long, who arcs around on the right. He's got a one-on-one inside, forward 50. Marshall did well to push Fox underneath the footy, first on the scene. At ground level, Swans with numbers, but Hill applies the tackle on Stevens, and the ball's going nowhere. Umpire crosses arms and says, I'll toss it up 45 out on a 45 angle in the right forward pocket for the Saints.
Heaney getting some work done on the bench too. The boundary update for Spitwater, tough and ready. Kent bobbled in his grasp and then just threw it away almost. That's what it looked like. Florent evades 2 tackles. Somehow got boots a ball. Was touched on the way through. Jones mopped up, lost control of it. Still battling with Paddy McCartan on his hammer. Ball goes over the boundary line and out of play. Will throw it in half forward on the broadcast side.
Went to sell some candy, Jones, and dropped his product.
Not for the first time tonight.
He doesn't. Look, his business pursuits have not worked out favourably in terms of candy commerce.
Highly advising not to go into the candy business during the summer, as it's a torpedo in the direction of McDonald. Wicks went without it. Ben Long battling away. McDonald did a nice little touch to Clark, and it opens up some space for Goulden, who takes the mark, attacking side of the broadcast wing.
Option streaming to forward 50. One of those is McInerney. He's able to just loft the kick over the St Kilda defenders, one of those being Hanbury. Now 51 from home. McInerney is going to size this up. He's going to tee it up to the top of the square. McDonald flew underneath it. Leonard missed with the fist. Wicks foraging for it, tried to slap it back towards goal. Leonard sort of threw it out over his head with the sort of hack kick. Was McDonald, couldn't get it working. And it goes out of bounds on the full to the right-hand side of the right point post, and Wanganeen Miller will bring it back into play. So ticking up to 11 minutes, Makita rule the outdoors clock. 74 plays, 55, 19-point Sydney lead for McDonald's. Catch a quarter pounder at Macca's today.
It's a crucial moment for the New Farm Australian through and through, although it quickly evaporates as Rowbottom takes the intercept mark. Attacking side of the outer wing for the Swans. He loads up inside 50. Buddy in a pack. Ball comes to ground. Zach Jones tracking it. Goes to ground. Haywood kept his feet but can't evade the tackle from Hanbury. Eventually the ball goes over the boundary line and out of play.
Safety Steel shed stats. They're 1.9% behind second position. I think it might be a bridge too far, so Sydney will just be looking to close this game out, get the 4 points and jump on the plane.
Campbell knocked it down. Leonard running away from the contest. Puts the ball towards the broadcast side. McCartan, that's Tom, came in with the fist, put it over the boundary line and out of play. We'll throw it in, attacking side of the broadcast wing for the Swans, who hold a 19-point lead.
Well, it's not the most important issue, but even Dan Hanbury's retired. The Swans are down here. A lot of ex-teammates of his, a lot of premiership teammates of his. I wonder whether they're allowed some of those Swan players to stay down and maybe celebrate his career with them, or would they take them all back, Mickey B, given there's finals in a couple of weeks?
Not something that entered my melon.
Well,
Stuff like that usually does. So I don't think so. I think they get on the plane, and even with the threat of COVID, illness and all that still floating around.
Ground ball was there to be won on the broadcast wing, and Jones made sure that the Swans weren't going to come away with it. He buried Florent in a strong tackle. Opportunity Sinclair got boot to ball as he was being rolled and tackled, sort of kicked it off his back, turtle style. Hill overran it. Owens didn't fight out a handball to Hill, didn't realise he'd lost his footing. And now the Swans are able to come away with it. Wicks got it to Parker, and Parker drives it down the broadcast wing and finds Haywood. Risky kick into the corridor. McInerney had it flapped away from him by Kent. Hannery gives it back to Kent. McInerney bearing down. Kent gets the kick away, and it was just deft touch by foot. Had to drop it in between a triangle of Swans to find the outstretched hands of King, and he did exactly that.
Had courage, didn't he? King went back, not a very nice place to be, with the floating ball coming in, and went back, opened himself up, and this is his first look at a set shot from a really gettable position on the ground today, Sammy.
He'll kick from about 40 metres, in between 40 and 45, just to the rider directly in front. He's kicked 4 today, but they've been on the run, 1, 2 snaps, left and right foot, and a dribbler from directly in front. This is the set shot. This has been the issue, and it's no issue today. From 0-5 to 5 goals straight, and one that didn't register a score. What a difference a week makes for Max King. Who needs you, Lloydie? Says King. No, he doesn't. I'm being facetious, of course. No, but that's great for him, isn't it? Like all the scrutiny that he endured during the week, and it's not the first time in his career. There's the thought that, his 0-5 might have cost them the game against the Lions and any chance of making the finals.
And it's not like the set shot run-up that we just saw is dramatically different from what we watched a week ago. So he's backed himself in. He had a bit more momentum through the ball, but it was very,
back on it though, doesn't he?
But it was very subtle. Any adjustments he's changed to subtle. He hasn't gone out and changed it 100%.
Swans by 13 points, 14.5 played. McDonald's catch a quarter pounder at Macca's meal today, and Hanbury brings them out of the middle again.
He does, long ball inside 50, and this time it's Membry creating the separation, and he takes the mark, and he'll line up for the 4th consecutive goal for the Saints, and to bring it back to single figures as a margin. On a slight angle, man on the mark stands 30 metres out. Hasn't kicked a goal so far this afternoon from his 11 disposals. And has kicked 23-14 from set shots this season, Tim Membry. He comes in. And it's a beautiful drop punt. Fantastic goal for Tim Membry. And the hope of securing a top 2 spot is just about gone now for the Swans. They could still cough up victory, though. The Saints are coming. They now trail by only 7 points on the McDonald's scoreboard. Catch a quarter pounder range meal at Macca's today with 15.5 minutes travelled in the final term on the Makita clock.
They've dominated centre clearance all day, the Saints, so to get some reward for effort, that one was Dan Hanbury, who's been brilliant across the day, may feature in the votes for AFL Nation. Got it out, gave it over the top. A big, long bang inside forward 50, and Membry should have had a little bit more pressure on him. Went back with a bit of courage, took a nice chest mark and kicks a goal against his former side, and here they come.
Yes, indeed. 7 inside 50s for Dan Hanbury. Safety still sheds. If they lose this game, the Swans will finish 5th. Batted forward for St Kilda only momentarily. Heaney chopped it off running away from goal and then gave it to Florent. Florent aired it out to right half forward, and it didn't favour Rowbottom that bounce. Leonard just forced it forward and won himself a free kick. Rowbottom got a little handsy, a little grabby. And Leonard, defensive side of the outer wing, has the free kick. There's just over 9 minutes to play. Makita rule the outdoors clock. Crucial moment for New Farm. Australian through and through. Hanging on to a 7-point lead are the Swans. Fisted back forward their way. Parker got it moving off the deck as he was slung off at Rowbottom, fed it up off the deck to the run of Warner, who was bundled over as he kicked, and the kick wasn't able to find the chest of Franklin, and Howard chopped it off. Now they spread to the right back pocket. Patton can set him up from there.
Goes over the top for long, under pressure from McInerney. Heaney will do the mopping up. Shuffles the kick inside, attacking 50. Patton put it into the path of Haywood. Found McInerney by hand, who shrugged the tackle off. He sized the goal up.
Look at Buddy. Top of the square, no one within Kuevi.
Yes. Arm still glistening from the pre-game oil as well, the bud.
It's 8 points now is the margin. The Swans 11-9-75 lead the Saints 10-7-67 on the McDonald's scoreboard.
Sinclair canters out of the defensive goal square. Oh, that kick too far out in front of Wanganeen Miller and out of bounds on the full. So McInerney to bring the Swans back inside forward 50.
And you feel like they definitely need to kick another goal to win.
Now the target is Franklin, who led out and had it fisted away from Howard. Buddy butted up. Kick went off the instep and it squeezed off the boot. Squared up into the corridor and Leonard was there to gobble it up. Fortuitous, but it matters not. In the left back pocket, Wilkie to run him out of defensive 50. Kicks to the lead at left half back of Higgins, and they'll slow it down out there. 18.5 minutes played. Makita rule the outdoors clock.
Big fly from Tom McCartan over the top of Membry. The ball seen over the boundary line and out of play. Throw it in, centre wing out of side. Around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse. Great savings every day. Collingwood by a point to end the Blues season. And the Bulldogs are into the finals, courtesy of a 23-point victory over the Hawks. As it's all wrapped up from the boundary throw in on the outer side. There's some injury concerns as well for the Swans. Concussion for Tom Papley this afternoon. As the Swans try to escape, there'll be a high tackle. Blakey's the other concern to emerge from this match, and Stevens is a little sore from that contest. It's the boundary uptake for Spitwater.
So Blakey's made his way back out as well, Coxie, and they put a 7th behind the ball with Callum Mills trying to stem the momentum of the Saints.
Stevens went long. McDonald crashed the contest. Buddy comes in trying to extract it. Ball spilt free. Marshall shuffles it away. Sinclair finds Leonard by hand, who's been impressive all afternoon for the Saints. Kent's running onto it in his 100th game, pulled up because he got an awkward bounce, and Blakey emerges with it. One bounce, gives a handball off to Haywood, who stumbled, then snaps, going to fall on the line. No one got a hand to it, I don't think.
Howard's protesting.
Howard adamant.
Objection, Your Honour.
He is. We're going upstairs for a score review for Spinal Ease. Sleep better with Spinal Ease pillows, on sale now at spinalease.com.au. How's it looking on the replay screen for car sales?
Oh, Dougal. Dougal missed it.
Oh, Dougal. Oh, Dougal. There was daylight between Fist and Sharon. Maybe that angle's just not doing him justice.
I think that's what Dougal's protesting. Could hear a pin drop here at Marvel.
Well, now they're checking whether it's touched off the boot. No.
Oh, gappy.
On my own chest down and say how good my eyesight is. Haywood's goal. As we await for the official confirmation. It is a goal. 12-9-81. Plays 10-7-67 on the McDonald's scoreboard. Catch a quarter pounder at Macca's.
He's still shaking his head, Dougal Howard. Maybe we need to see. I don't want to be quick to judge, so I'd like to see another angle.
Maybe you felt the wind.
So there's 5 senses. There's sense
Maybe
of
you
sight.
felt the presence of ball.
There's a sense of sight. There's a sense of sound, smell, taste, and touch. Dougal might have the touch just slightly off kilter.
Well, they keep showing the same camera angle. Right, we've seen that. Have we got another?
He's still bemused.
The replay for car sales, everything you ought to know.
Either way, it's the steadier that the Swans needed, and the goal that you predicted.
Yeah, they needed it. John Longmire, he was getting animated on the bench. Now he's a little bit more subdued and a little bit more happy.
Hayward second, stopped the rod of 4 in a row. Steele, though, is going to bring him out of the middle. He'll do so by providing hands to Owens, and then Owens brought them inside, forward 50. No mark taken. Membry was front and square, took it and took off, and then tried the banana and got the reverse of that. snapped it across the face of goal. It bounced up inside the field of play, left forward pocket, and seen over the boundary line by Stevens, and will have it thrown in 30 around from the left point post.
Felt like he could just straighten up and drop punt, bang, goal umpire's shoes.
Had time, had space. 6 and change left to play in the quarter. 14-point Sydney lead. Front and square, Butler couldn't get the first time. Warner sunk a little slipper into it, gained about 15 metres. Overrunning it, Lloyd. Good tackle, Higgins to dispossess him. Rowbottom shoveled it out and taking on the bounce was Florent, and taken down is Florent in a two-man tackle. We'll have it thrown up 49 metres out on a 45 angle from the Swans goal. Going to your right radio speaker. In fact, the Saints goal at the City end.
Campbell knocked it down. Steele caught by Rowbottom. Fed it to Owens, who breaks through traffic. Ball top of the goal square. Interrupted by the Swans defence. Higgins gets clobbered, and then Ross stuck his boot out. It goes through for a minor score. It's a 13-point margin in favour of the Swans. We've ticked over 23 minutes on the Makita clock.
Higgins ducking into that on the replay for car sales, so that's why the play on call was there. Dropped the knees, Michael Barlow. Is that how you saw it?
That's how I saw it. He should have just driven with his legs, kept his sword.
Oh, danger. Danger. Big fist from Steele from the kick in. It falls to Butler. Has it got enough? Has it got enough to get over the hand of Rampy, who was attempting a Dougal of his own to say that it was touched, but I'm not sure it was.
I think Dane Rampy is, well, I shouldn't say trustworthy. Is he trustworthy? He climbed the post.
He's climbed the post before.
I didn't mind that.
Hey, you can't. Now, they're just checking as to whether Tom McCartan might have got a hand on it off the boot.
No. Sydney Harvey Bridge stuff under Tom McCartan. This is one of the great tumblers, isn't it? He's kicked it under Tom and he's bounced it over Dane.
Now, Rampy did get a finger on it, but the ball had passed cleanly over the line, so Butler's goal will count. That's his first of the evening.
The first row was Dane Rampy.
Well, he did touch it, he just didn't touch it in time. So it is a goal. The score review for Spinal Ease. Sleep better with the Spinal Ease pillow on sale now at spinalease.com.au, but put that down to Steele. Yes, it was a poor kick coming back into play from the Swans, but Steele's authority fist to set that up, and Butler was able to finish. The margin now is back to 7 points for McDonald's. Catch a quarter pounder at Macca's today. Michael Barlow for Shaw Unified.
Yeah, really liking the exposure of some of these younger players. St Kilda in the centre bounce. It's Owens, it's Windhager. The longer it's going, the more involved they are around players like Jack Steele and Dan Hanbury to really understand the game and have that experience around them as well.
I often see Lloyd miss a target like that under no pressure out of the defensive goal square. Michael Barlow.
No, exactly right. So you nearly just put the glasses down and wait for him to hit a target, uncontested.
Rowbottom couldn't break clear, but Parker did. Found Lloyd, who pushes it forward for the Swans. They all went up, no one claimed it. Clark just paddled it forward. Bobbling ball, top of the 50 for the Swans. Howard chasing it, handballed it in front of himself. Kent went without it. Stevens goes to the turf. Hill, it bobbled on Steele. It went back to Hill, to Zach Jones, who sidestepped two, got the handball to Patton. Clever, but almost mucked it up. Hickey soccers it forward. Marshall greets it, pushes the handball out to Kent. He gives it off to the other retiree tonight in Hanbury. Goes to the half forward. Ross in a battle. He keeps it in play. Spins around. Ball inside 50. Mills is the only one home, though, for the Swans. He takes the defensive mark and just settles things down inside defensive 50 for the Swans, who lead by 7 points.
He's playing it safe. Mills had the switch in the left-back pocket. Goulden.
So Mills is the seventh. He's the spare defender at the moment. Do St Kilda press forward and man that up and turn it into a genuine one-on-one contest? So we'll wait and see.
This game is well and truly in the balance. 4:20 to play. Makita Rulli outdoors clock. Reid took a strong mark. Defensive side of the far side wing. He goes to right half forward. Ball being chased out of play by Heaney and Patton. About 60 around the boundary at right half forward for the Swans, who are 12-9-81. St Kilda 11-8-74 for McDonald's. Catch a quarter pounder at Macca's. And the Saints finish off this season on a high. Parker, well tackled by Steele. Still the ball in dispute at right half forward. Umpire hugs himself and says that's going nowhere, so let me toss it up again.
Just having a look at the monitor, and Josh Kennedy on the bench today doing some coaching. He's not fussed. He was just doing a big yawn.
He did, after playing with his lips, I think he was. Hanbury towards the centre wing was very weird on the Carsales replay screen.
30 disposals for Dan Hanbury. Safety steel sheds.
Pushed over the line. It'll be thrown in centre wing out of side. You mentioned before, Mick, it's potentially the best ever game he's played for the Saints. What about that game to get them into the finals a couple of years ago?
Coxie, look, I said that off the cuff, really. So maybe there was one or two. It's on the podium. Let's go with on the podium.
Should have spoken about that at 3/4 time with you. As Hills now taken by 3. We'll ball it up on the logo.
He's been really good. So inside 50s clearance. The circumstances are a bit different when you put a side into the finals, but today, raw numbers, he's been really good.
Rowbottom, long ball in the buddy direction off hands. Haywood escapes the tackle, snaps from 40 metres out, squeezes it in. And that's probably the nail in the coffin. 3 goals for Haywood, 2 in this final term. And the Swans lead it once again by 13 points. 13-9-87, plays 11-8-74, all thanks to McDonald's. Catch a quarter-pounder range meal at Macca's today.
He torched Sam Reid, who was running into an open goal. Looked him in the eye and saw where he was running into an open goal and said, no, Sam, I'm going to hook it around the corner from 45 rather than you. They've done it a couple of times today, so it's something... whether they address this, you'd imagine they would with the high end of accountability in the Bloods culture. Should have given it to Reid. He would have run into an open goal, but that's secured top 4 now. 3 minutes to go. 3 goals, the difference, or 13 points, 3 scoring shots. So a task too tough for the Saints.
No sense of theatre.
All over.
Hickey won it down decisively. Hanbury overran it. Rowbottom couldn't collaborate by hand with Haywood. It ricochets back to Rowbottom, who's taken in like a koala-style tackle, legs, arms, all deployed by Steele. These tackles are like a steel trap. Once he's got you, you're got. Rowbottom was able to find it at ground level, just pounds it onto the right boot and gets it to 20 out directly in front. Franklin had to beat 2, front and square. Wicks couldn't take it. Just backpedaling out of the problem was Heaney, and the snap from the right forward pocket bent too much. 25 around, it goes across the face and trickles out of play. We'll have a boundary throw in, 10 around from the left point post for Spitwater. Tough and ready. Goal of the game contender, host plus. That's a plus for Haywood, that last one, as the ball spins back into play. Campbell, hand down and puts it past Hanbury, who was able to find it, then ran out of tarmac, and we'll have another boundary throw in from exactly where we just had that one. Clock says 2:43. The lead is 13 points. McDonald's catch a quarter-pounder at Macca's today. Matty Cox, what's hot?
Thank you, Sammy Hargraves. Campbell doing the ruck work. It's been solid this afternoon for the Saints, and it'll be interesting to see how he and Marshall combine going forward, given the retirement of Paddy Ryder and the combination that Ryder and Marshall have had as Rowbottom receives the handball. Hasn't got enough on it, though, and just puts it through for a minor score. So it's out to a 14-point margin as Sinclair very quickly brings it back into play. Out of pocket for Jones. Pops it over the top for Howard. Half back on the outer side. Just waits. No real pressure.
Probably should move the ball on if you're trying to chase the game.
Long ball. Manganine Miller up off hands. Sinclair pokes the kick to Membry. Attacking side of the outer wing. He winds up inside attacking 50. Blakey got a fingertip to it. Fox claiming to be held. McInerney sees it over the boundary line and out of play. We'll throw it in. 31 gone. Final term on the Makita clock. We're all the outdoors with Makita. It'll be a throw-in inside attacking 50 for the Saints in the outer pocket.
Are the Saints showing you anything, Michael Barlow, answer this in a minute, that other teams might look at in a way to try and bring the Swans unstuck? Off hands, Higgins got underneath that kick, went 50 up and 15 long, and it'll just float out of bounds on the full in the left forward pocket, 15 around from the left point post.
Yeah, they've been able to put a fair bit of speed on the ball throughout the arcs. So Sydney are doing really well in terms of dropping off and getting a spare behind the ball. And the Saints, when they have opened them up, have used that outnumber through the middle of the ground with handball and that makes the spare behind the ball null and void if you do it correctly.
They've dominated clearance too, plus 11.
Centre bounce has been the one as well,
plus 4 clearance.
The plus 10.
Plus 10 centre clearance.
Yes.
Safety still shared stats. Sorry, Mick.
As King goes inside 50, off hands, Goulden finds Blakey, who will find Hayward at half-back on the broadcast side, and is keen for them just to take time off the clock. They lead it by 14 points, 13-10-88, plays 11-8-74, thanks to McDonald's. Catch a quarter-pounder at Macca's. Hayward's kick to the wing is marked strongly by Heaney. A few nice things this afternoon, as he always does. Finds Fox, who's got a little limp up. Able to take his kick. Might be a bit of cramp. He's come from the field.
Good spot to cramp right in front of the interchange gates for Spickwater. Tough and ready.
As Lloyd now retreats defensively to Rampy.
Sydney chance going up. Coxie.
Yeah, wearing the South Melbourne jumper today, so plenty of old South Melbourne fans and Swans fans alike, as Heaney again takes a strong mark on the centre wing.
They are such a formidable combination, him and Franklin. Get great support from Hayward as well. Reid when he goes in. They're a dangerous side. Saints have been able to subdue them relatively today, but they're still going to come away with a win, and they are still going to clinch a double chance, and there it is. So it took till the final game of the final round in season 22 to set the top 4, but the Swans will finish inside it. They were made to earn it by the Saints, who were gallant in defeat in their final game, trying to send out Paddy Ryder, who wasn't playing today, but Dan Hanbury and Dean Kent all retiring during the week. 11-8-74 St Kilda, Sydney 13-10-88. For a moment when it got out to 28 points, you thought maybe top 2 for Sydney. They could leapfrog Melbourne, but St Kilda denied them that opportunity, but they do get the double chance. They finish 4th in the regular season. Geelong, Melbourne, Sydney finished 3rd, I should say. Collingwood finished 4th.
Honour the name by day and by night. Lift that noble banner high. Shake down the thunder from the sky. Whether the odds be great or small, Swans will go in and win overall. While our loyal Swans are marching onwards to victory.
As both teams embrace, Matty Cox pointed out, there's a lot of cross-pollination between these two teams. Plenty out there have played for both clubs, as I watched John Longmire embrace Dan Hanbury warmly. 11-8-74 St Kilda, Sydney 13-10-88. So just to clarify, I made a bit of a meal of that before, but Sydney did finish inside the top 4. They finished 3rd for season 2022. Collingwood finished 4th after coming back from 24 points down against Carlton early in the 4th term. And they secure themselves a double chance, the Pies finishing 4th. So the ladder will be Geelong, Melbourne, Sydney, Collingwood, Freo, Brisbane, Richmond, and the Western Bulldogs, who snuck in by the skin of their teeth. 0.6 of a percentage point above Carlton, who will be sitting in the rooms at the MCG wondering what might have been. Michael Barlow, just your initial thoughts for sure. Unify your team.
Yeah, the Saints class, they just lacked the class the longer it went, whereas Sydney had the class. Some of the clutch goals, I did tongue-in-cheek say, the Will Hayward handball it to the easier option going into goal, but they show that they can pull out the miraculous goals when they need it. So that front half in particular, their forward line at fall of the ball is the most potent fall of the ball forward line going around at the moment. It's Hayward getting on the end of it. Papley was subbed out with concussion. Isaac Heaney's an absolute star. So a really good performance in the front half, especially from their medium to small players. And Buddy was really good today, getting on the end of a few. So the Swans, top 4, double chance. They'll play Melbourne next week, and they'd really rate themselves at the MCG.
So the story for St Kilda, though, on a positive, Max King, who went 0-5 last week, has kicked 5 straight this week. One, though, didn't register a score. One of his shots at goal as it didn't make the distance. But 5 straight from 12 disposals and 7 marks for Max King. And that's a nice way to finish out after a week of scrutiny that he's endured. Will Haywood got 3 for the Swans. Buddy got 2. So did Heaney. So did McDonald. So that forward line looks to be working very, very well together, despite being pretty decently held today. 13-10-88 they kicked in the end. And then singles to Butler, Gould and Higgins, Long, Membry. Papley got 1 before he was subbed out with concussion. Rowbottom, Steele, Warner and Windhager. So multiple goal scorers aplenty for both teams on that final score. Catch a quarter-pounder range meal at Macca's today. What are you pointing out to me, Matty Cox? Paddy Ryder, is it?
Yes, Paddy Ryder's made his way out onto the field with his family, and we're all just waiting for him to enjoy the final few moments as an AFL player alongside Dan Hanbury today for the St Kilda Footy Club, who's currently being interviewed by the host broadcaster, and also Dean Kent, who finishes up after playing in his milestone game and after being the sub today actually made it out onto the field for that. So a nice way to finish his career.
It'll be interesting to see the carry-offs. I'm putting the cart before the horse, but I think Dan Hanbury might get one of each. He might have a Saint player under him, and he might have a Swan player under him, speaking of the cross-pollination. Paddy Ryder.
Parker?
Or, yeah,
maybe Kennedy's injured, so maybe not Kennedy.
Could be...
maybe the Bud.
The Bud
very
one.
Very close to Bud.
The Bud one and Parker. Maybe it's 2 Swans because...
You can't be playing for a team and have the two opposition team members take you off.
Why
I know
not?
he only played 18 games in 4 years.
I'm just going to break it to you right now. I had more of an impact at these other clubs, so these two are going to carry me off. But
yes.
No, well played today, Dan Hanbury. He had a big impact on the game. You could tell he was playing like a man possessed, and he'd be sitting there thinking, what could have been with the career when you do get yourself right and get a bit of freedom and probably a bit of clear headspace as well today, understanding that it was all over.
Yep.
So a big day, 30 possessions, 7 clearances, as you mentioned, Sammy, as they make their way over to create a guard of honour. Both clubs journeying over towards the St Kilda race.
Our post-game wrap for Coates, we're more than high, we're equipped for anything. That's just, I mean, if we as we've got a moment here to be able to, could we have asked for a better season? And the way that we finished, I mean, Jerry Whateley spoke during the week that there was over 200 different possibilities of how the 8 would fall and points percentage and everything. So the machinations of permutations, it took till the final game of the final round to set the top 8. And that is a big tick on a home and away season, isn't it? I mean, it's just been a joy.
Yep, no, absolutely. And I'm looking at the top 8 now and you're thinking... Who can go on? Well, you could all go in. You've got to have a seat at the table to give yourself an opportunity to win it. And right now, you'd be looking at the Dogs and thinking, they perhaps are the ones really vulnerable. But the elimination finals, they'll throw up a myriad of prospects in terms of you're in there, make the most of it. And the Dogs will absolutely look to do that. They'll travel to Perth. That'll be a big one.
So it looks to me like it'll be possibly Kennedy and Steele to chair off Dan Hanbury, as both teams form a guard of honour for the retiring
trainers
class.
Are over as well, just in case. Look at the trainers run over from the Swans. I think they're going to tell Josh Kennedy not to do it.
A sub? Are you thinking there'll be a chairlift sub?
Don't do it.
No,
don't do it.
he's up.
Josh, you can't do it. He's up.
Testing that hamstring.
So Marshall and Howard will chair off Paddy Ryder. And Dan Hanbury being chaired off by his premiership teammate Josh Kennedy, who also announced his retirement this year. This retirement class is probably the most elite I think we've ever seen. And Jack Steele also chairing off Dan Hanbury as both teams form a guard of honour. Congratulations to all of those players. Hopefully we see Josh Kennedy be able to get back out onto the field to close out his career in finals, because that's where he made his name. He's probably the Swans' greatest ever finals player. So congratulations to Paddy Ryder, to Dan Hanbury, to Dean Kent, and to Josh Kennedy as well, who you just hope will get to be chaired off, maybe even after a grand final. The Swans looking every bit a premiership contender in season 2022. Michael Barlow. So that's an unmissable moment for Drinkwise. Choose to Drinkwise. You won't miss a moment. if you drink wise. Just the major disposal getters, safety, steel shed stats, if you wouldn't mind, Mickey B.
Yeah, we'll run through them. Dan Hanbury with the 30 possessions, led all comers on the ground in his farewell game. Seb Ross with 29. Ben Long, huge game, 27 possessions, 13 intercepts. Benny Long, so had a big game across half-back. Jack Sinclair, 27. Jack Steele, 27. So all the Saints led the disposals across the day. Jake Lloyd was the best of the Swans, along with James Robon with 24. So an even contribution by the boys that wore the South Melbourne jumper today. Some team stats in terms of numbers around the ball. It was centre bounce that the Saints really held themselves in the game, and they dominated that stat, plus 10, 16-6. But around the ground, it was the Swans plus 5 in the stoppages. Contested possessions, the Swans plus 15. They hung in the first half only. It was even in that stat across the first half. And then it was the Swans that brought that intensity around the ball to dominate ground position off the back of contest and around the ground clearance. The Saints looked to overpossess a little bit, so they had 40 more uncontested possessions than their opponents. So there's some of the key numbers across the afternoon. And in terms of class, the Swans just did enough. They'll review that pretty hard, I reckon, and look for opportunities to improve, but they've done enough.
So just to repeat, the top 8 finally set. What an extraordinary and pulsating finish to the year. Every game today meant something in the context of the culmination of the season. So Geelong finished clear on top on 72 points. Melbourne on equal points with Sydney and Collingwood, but with a healthier percentage, will finish second and will play Sydney in the first week of the finals. The Cats will host Collingwood, you'd think, at the MCG. Fremantle finish 5th and will get a home elimination final against the Western Bulldogs. And Brisbane will host Richmond, and that will hold no fears for the Tigers. 6v7 in that clash. Richmond having won a premiership at the Gabba and pretty much having had the wood over the Lions in recent years. Although the Lions, that one finals win in 6 under Chris Fagan, if memory serves, was against Richmond, wasn't it?
Pretty sure.
So all those finals dish up just a lot of tasty morsels in terms of storylines and excitement abounds. So we've got to wait a couple of weeks for it. But luckily we've got the start of the AFLW season next week. Are there any surprises in that ladder for you, Michael Barlow, and how today finished out?
No, today went pretty much to script. Like the script was, wasn't absolutely straightforward that the Collingwood situation was going to be the seesaw it was against Carlton. That game, you'll have to go home and watch that. In particular, the last quarter or the last half where Carlton came out and dominated the third and Collingwood just found a way again. So going into today, I thought Collingwood would win, in another epic. And today, this result doesn't surprise me at all. Sydney get the result. I know having that Fremantle connection, there were some Fremantle people fairly optimistic that one of these results could go their way to give themselves a double chance. That hasn't gone their way, so they'll get the home final, finishing just outside the top 4. And you'd think that side that finished eighth, which is now the Doggies, for mine, egg can pretty quickly come back on your face, but they look the ones that you should be able to get a hold of. That 8th spot, no one really wanted to grab it all year. No one. If Carlton had have got in, they would have limped in. The Dogs, they've had their opportunities and they've been underwhelming at times this year. So I think 1 through to 7, genuinely up and about. And I think the Dogs have an uphill battle, but hey, the Dogs had an uphill battle in 2016, didn't they? And we saw that where that finished.
Does it make much of a difference for the Sydney Swans, given that they have to come to the MCG? We're anticipating in that qualifying final. They beat Melbourne there earlier in the season when Melbourne was in that little turbulent patch. Do you hold any fears? Would they have preferred 2 games on the SCG?
Oh, yeah, you'd clearly want to get the opportunity at the home final, the Sydney Swans, in front of their home fans. But you get that double chance, and personal experience, 3 years at Freo, we finished top 4, and the year, we finished 4th, and so the bottom end of the 4, and the week off, we were all so excited about, here we go. Like, it's top 4. It doesn't matter where you play. It's held anywhere, anytime. When you get that double chance, you get that opportunity to go out and compete to go straight through to a home prelim. So put the battle capes on and get to work, and that's exactly what Sydney will do against Melbourne, who they've got to perform against.
I'll tell you what, if you're a Carlton fan looking at the last 10 scores of the game at the MCG today, I hate to rub salt into a wound, but Collingwood kicked the last 3 goals. Before that, Carlton had kicked 3 behinds. Before that, Collingwood got a goal, and then there was a behind to Carlton before that, a goal to Collingwood before that, and a behind to Carlton before that. So in the last quarter, they kicked 6 behinds, Carlton, and lost by a point. And Collingwood kicked 5 goals, 1.
Remarkable. Yeah. And in the third quarter, you flip it back. They were remarkable in the third quarter to get themselves back in the game. I think it was 8 goals, 1. They kicked. Yeah. They come out, play like men possessed, and that's why our game is so special. It can turn on a dime, can't it? It can absolutely turn in an instant, and it did today.
How many come from behind wins is that for Collingwood now? Someone will be able to tell. I used to have the number in the back of my head just because we were following it along, but I think that's about their 12th or 13th win, 12 points and under. Come from behind wins, I reckon it'd be 7 or 8 in the last quarter. Some things don't make sense in footy, Michael Butler. Some things don't have a statistical explanation. Sometimes you just have to throw your hands in the air and say, I don't understand this, but I'm just going to enjoy it because it is remarkable. And their season is remarkable. From 17th to 4th, that's insane. And a double chance now.
When you watch it, and you're watching along today, the one eye on it, one eye on the game we're broadcasting today, you think, well, today's the day. Today's the day it doesn't.
Surely not again.
Surely not again. Today's not the day. But we've said that every time. Well, I've said that every time I've watched on in those circumstances, and they get it done. You watch the last passenger play, and we'll see it. It's composure by Pendlebury. It's composure by Elliott. They don't rush. They don't panic. It's trained into them. They get the result.
Swans finished 3rd on the ladder after a 14-point win over the Saints. We'll continue to dissect it in our awards on the other side of this on AFL Nation.